Network is prohibited.
Lions Nation, are you ready for some football? For the first home game of the season, your Nelson Lions host the Spirit of Ottawa, Arizona.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nelson University Sports Network. We are live from beautiful Lumpkin Stadium in Waxahachie, Texas. I am Adam Ferguson, joined by my broadcast partner, Tim Roberts. Tim, we can celebrate football is back, baby.
Football is back in Waxahachie. I cannot wait for another huge season. You know, there's a chill in the air. No, there's not, but there's a chill down my spine because I'm so excited to be back. Calling football games here.
We are thankful that you have joined us today here on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, or X, wherever you choose to watch your NAIA football streams. Thank you for joining us today. Tim, before we get started here locally from Waxahachie, let's talk about the grand scheme of things in the NAIA. Let's introduce people to a little bit of how this division works.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the NAIA, obviously we talk about it being kind of on par with NCAA D2, D3, depending on when you land. It's a huge overall league with over 250 schools nationwide, and out of that, around a third of them play football with 95 football teams. So you got a really stacked lineup of teams out there.
There are 9 conferences in football, but 13 conferences and divisions get an auto bid for the playoffs, which we'll talk about here in just a couple of seconds. But as we kick off our homestand, our streaming season, congratulations to last season's champions, Grandview, as they were able to take it home in a very exciting playoff format. But here is how this playoff format works. 20 teams make it compared to the lackluster 12 that you see in the NCAA. So a little bit ahead of the NCAA is how we're choosing to look at that. 13 auto bids, again, 1 for each of those conference winners. I know we said 9, but 4 of those conferences have split into North and South. So each one of those conference winners, champions, make the playoffs, and 7 at-large bids. Now, seeds 13 through 20 play each other to become the seeds 13 through 16 in the actual playoffs. If you want to look at it like a play-in, like you see in the NCAA March Madness college basketball tournament or the NBA playoffs, look at it as a play-in. They get a game against a similarly seeded opponent to get to the playoffs. And then, of course, the winners advance to the quarterfinals, then the semifinals, and as we know, the national championship. Now, this year, Tim, we've seen a multitude of fields across the country host the national championship. This year, Texas Wesleyan, right in our own backyard. Crowley ISD hosting the national championship game again. Fort Worth, Texas Wesleyan plays their home games. The Rams, we know them very well, being here at Nelson University. And that is about 8,000 seats. It is a high school stadium, so if you look at Lumpkin Stadium, think very, very similar to what we see here every Saturday. That's what you're getting with Crowley ISD. Very exciting that it's here in our backyard.
Yeah, super excited to see that. And you already know the Rams might be thinking, probably not thinking too far ahead, but in the back of your mind, you're going to be thinking home game. Home game if we can keep it going all year long.
Yep.
But yeah, it's fantastic to have you here in North Texas. And obviously, you say high school stadium, but anybody familiar with North Texas or Texas football in general, palaces. I mean, what we have here at Lumpkins is absolutely fabulous. You think of Allen, Midlothian, Mansfield, and now over here Crowley ISD as well. Just some of the top-of-the-line football stadiums that go toe-to-toe with any college stadium at this level around the nation.
Absolutely it does. Moving on, you just mentioned Texas Wesleyan. Let's talk about how the Sooner Athletic Conference shaped up last season. For the first time in Sooner Athletic Conference history, 2 teams were selected to go to the playoffs. We had the conference champions, Texas Wesleyan, and the at-large bid, who we're going to see today, the Ottawa of Arizona Spirit. They both made the playoffs last year. So Tim, we've been doing this a long time. We were talking about this pregame. We've been doing this a long time together. We've talked year after year about when it's time for the Sooner Athletic Conference to get a little bit of respect. Well, they got it last year.
They got it. And the only downside is neither team won. Ottawa, Arizona loses round 1 to a Friends team that just exists to run. We'll talk about that more here in a minute. What a fascinating rushing attack they have. Meanwhile, Texas Wesleyan, they just caught the wrong team at the wrong time. Benedictine went into Fort Worth, won that, then nearly got all the way to the national championship. They had a 17-point lead with 6 minutes to go against Kaiser and blew it. Other than that, they were in the national championship game. So unfortunately that the Sooners still couldn't break through for that first big playoff win. However, it shows the up and up. It shows the respect they're getting, and it shows how people are starting to see that this conference is so tough. Week in and week out, you may have your favorites, but if you go to sleep on anybody, they can upset you.
Moving on to this season inside the Sooner Athletic Conference, the team we're going to see today, Ottawa of Arizona, the Spirit, with a new head coach. Head coach Mike Nesbitt took his talents to D2 Houston Christian. Very successful in his tenure as Ottawa of Arizona's head coach. But this year, Riley Murphy, he was the offensive coordinator at St. Thomas University in Miami, Florida, and we've been used to be seeing the Spirit run pass-heavy offense. We expect that will change, maybe not this year, but this is a guy whose team rushed for 2,000 yards last year with only 1,700 yards passing, complete opposite of what we've seen from Ottawa of Arizona.
Yeah, and at this point, I think it probably brings some great balance to their team. We'll talk more about their quarterback, Luke Sharon, here in a minute, but he's a guy that can beat you with his arm and his leg, so definitely keep an eye on how that strategy will develop throughout the year.
We're going to go down to the field with our field reporter, Kiara D'Amato. Kiara, what's it feel like down here today?
It's a beautiful morning out here in Waxahachie, not a single cloud in the sky. It's currently around 85 degrees, looking to warm up to about 90 degrees. As the game goes on, humidity is sitting around 70%, but should go down to 60 around 2 p.m. this afternoon. But clear skies, beautiful sunny day. Fans are starting to come into the stadium. They're excited and ready for another Nelson Lions football season. It's going to be a great game today. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you, Kiara. It's good to hear from you for another season here on the Nelson University Sports Network. All right, Tim, let's talk about last weekend and what happened across the country in the NAIA, starting with number 1 versus number 4, a top 5 matchup this early in the season.
We talked about it, playoff preview, perhaps national championship preview. Grandview narrowly edges out number 4, Benedictine, the team that they almost had to play for the national championship last year. What an amazing matchup that was.
Montana Tech, number 11, defeating number 25, Carroll, 30-19. Wykees Johnson from Montana Tech, almost 200 yards rushing, but toting the rock 34 times, 5.2 average, 3 touchdowns. That is a huge game out of that running back. And then, Tim, a big matchup in the Sooner last Saturday as well. Talk to me about that.
Louisiana Christian takes down Langston 31-24. Are they back? Are the Wildcats back yet again?
And then, of course, moving on to this week, one of our favorite segments to do every week. Tim, we get to see where we're right and where we're wrong. But so far, everyone's undefeated. Let's talk about some of the matchups in the Sooner this week. 6 o'clock tonight, OPSU taking on East Texas Baptist. Tim, you and I, we know East Texas Baptist. I'm not sure our very own Kiara knows what ETBU brings to the table.
They're going to bring a lot to the table tonight. I think we're both going with East Texas Baptist to take down OPSU.
So 2 for 3 there to start for OPSU against East Texas Baptist. Now, Texas Wesleyan versus Texas College. This one we're a little bit more on the same page. I think across the board we're going Texas.
This could be interesting. Texas College with their best season ever in program history last year. So if they grow, maybe they could stun Texas Wesleyan. But for now, I'll have to see it before I believe it.
Absolutely. And then 6 o'clock again, kickoff for Wayland Baptist versus Louisiana Christian. On the same page again, Louisiana Christian, we think they're posed for maybe a sleeper year in the Sooner.
They're right there at number 3, and they could absolutely leapfrog either of these top 2 teams we've talked about.
And then Arkansas Baptist versus Lyon, another 6 p.m. kickoff. You decided to go a little different here. It's hard to tell in these matchups.
It's a little bit of a flip a coin, Lyon versus Arkansas Baptist. Again, you never know what you're going to think these teams are until you get a little bit later in the season.
And then, of course, Langston versus UT Rio Grande Valley at 7 p.m. Another clean sweep. We're all going with UT Rio Grande Valley here to start this game.
A team with their first football season ever. I mean, they disbanded their program in 1951, so I think we can safely say UT Rio Grande as an FCS squad this year. But, yeah, we're all picking them over Langston.
Finally playing in color TV is UT Rio Grande Valley. And then, of course, the big one tonight, OUAZ versus Nelson. You and Kiara, a little bit of a heel turn to start the season. I'm going with Nelson. Look, new head coach for the Spirit, new quarterback here we're going to talk about a little bit. You know I love to talk about my quarterbacks here. For Nelson, I think anything can happen. I'm going Nelson today.
Anything can happen. I need to see a little bit more. It's so hard to pick these early season games. Right now, Ottawa, Arizona, they're the split favorite to be the conference champion. So we'll see if Nelson can do something to upend that. For now, I have to go with the Spirit.
Hey, you know, it's a new season. We'll see. Hopefully I'm right. Can't say anything yet, but don't go anywhere. We're going to come back with our keys to the game and players to watch right here on the Nelson University Sports Network.
Your power is unstoppable. And with us cheering you on, there's no limit to where it can take you. Baylor Scott and White Health, the power to live better.
At Raising Cane's, we're huge football fans, but we're also fans of your local fundraisers and fun runs, small victories and big ideas. And yes, even the neighborhood animal shelter. I was getting to that. Plus over 30,000 other partners in the communities we serve. When you order our hand-battered chicken fingers, craveable cane sauce, and jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade to cheer on your home team, you're also supporting your hometown. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Welcome back to the Nelson University Sports Network. We are just minutes away from kickoff here, and while we wait for the teams to take the field, let's go live to our field reporter, Kiara D'Amato, who is with head coach Jared Hutchins. Kiara, down to you.
Coach, you're entering your second year as head coach for the Nelson Lions. You lost some key senior players last season, but you've brought in some new recruits. Talk to me about those new recruits and what can we expect to see from them on the field today?
Well, they've come in and they've bought into the process of how we're trying to do things. We're really excited about those. You know, some of those guys include Judah Holtzclaw and some really great things. We've had some defensive guys step up like Noah Coffrin. So just having guys come in, buy into the process, and want to see it done the way we want to do it is a benefit to us, and it's only going to help us on the field.
In your season opener against MNU, Ronnie Murphy came away with 2 sacks. What can fans expect to see from him against OUAZ's offense today?
Ronnie has a knack for blitzing, so when we blitz him, we're expecting him to get home, and I think if we're doing it the right way, I think he can have some success today. But OUAZ, their quarterback.
Back to you, Adam.
Thank you, Kiara. So, Tim, as we get ready to go here, kickoff just minutes away, let's talk about the keys to the game for OUAZ and Nelson. What did the Spirit have to do to stay hot and keep their winning streak going?
Starting with the Spirit, you got to go back to the grind. When you've gone to the playoffs and you've lost, it feels like a mountain to get back there. You can easily overlook some teams early on. Focus on the basics. Don't fall into any trap games early in this season. Second, late down dominance. Last week in their big win, they converted 10 of 15 third and fourth downs. When they got to third or fourth down, they converted 10 out of 15 while allowing only 2 for 14. Do that again today. You're going to have a lot of success. Lastly, control the ground. You go back to that playoff game. They allowed 525 rushing yards in last year's playoff game. Rushing attacks will be huge here today with this weather. Now, they haven't been bad like that regularly, but they have to prevent any sort of slip-up like that again.
Moving over to the other sideline, your hometown Nelson Lions. Let's start with the turnovers. I feel like I talk about this every season, Tim, but turnovers, they are drive killers, they are momentum killers, and ultimately they are game killers. If you turn the ball over too many times, you're going to lose games, and that seems to be something that has haunted this Nelson offense the last couple of years. Secondly, stay ahead of the sticks. Another one I feel like we talk about a lot. Get yourself out of second and long and third and long situations. If you can keep it at 2nd and 6, 3rd and 4, you got a good shot at converting to those first downs and keeping drives going, keeping your defense, which we know is always good year in, year out, fresh and off the field. And then lastly, stay disciplined. It's your first home game. Avoid post-snap, pre-snap, non-in-play penalties. You say it all the time. You can live with a holding every now and then. It happens during the play of the game. But the things that happened after and before the whistles, that's all mental. Keep your head on straight. Keep the personal fouls to a minimum. You're going to find yourself in good shape. As we get ready to go to the field here, Tim, let's talk about what happened last season for these Nelson Lions. They did go 4-6 under first-year head coach Jared Hutchins. Now, it's not a head coach that we're not familiar with. He's been here a very long time as a defensive coordinator. What did you see last season that led them to go 4-6 and ultimately end the season the way they did?
Well, really, they went 4-6, and they were just 2 plays away from going 6-4. They were that close to flipping the script on the season.
We're going to go live to the national anthem and kickoff here, right here on the Nelson Sports Network. Welcome back to the Nelson University Sports Network. We are just minutes away from kickoff here, Tim. You were talking about how Nelson finished last season 4-6, just a couple of plays on special teams away from 6-4. But Tim, there's a new face at the helm this year, and we're going to get into him a little bit later. But it is a 6'6", 235-pound quarterback, Judah Holtzclaw, a transfer from Kilgore College, a JUCO school. Big arm, can move. Looked like he had a good grasp on the game in their first game against MNU. Tim, it's a different look at the quarterback position this year.
Very different look, and I'll only harp on it one time, but if you were playing NCAA on your Xbox or whatever and you named the quarterback of the Lions Judah Holtzclaw, it'd be a little on the nose. So he is like custom made to be the quarterback of the Nelson University Lions. Yeah, we saw some good stuff from him last week. You talk about those turnovers and special teams, though. You lose 37-13 because MNU did not have to drive more than 52 yards to score on you at any point in the game 2 weeks ago off of punts, kickoffs, and turnovers. You cut the lead down to 23-13, immediately gave up a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. So that's the kind of stuff you got to limit to give your young new quarterback here at Nelson a chance.
And expect to hear the name Holtzclaw a whole lot today because his brother, 6'7" tight end, is the starting tight end for this Nelson team as the captains set out to take place in the coin flip. It looks like opening prayer. Excuse me.
Thank you for this gorgeous day, and we want to thank you for these athletes and allowing us to come to your prayer. And as these athletes come out and showcase their talents, and these coaches come out there and showcase their abilities, I just pray that you put their hand of protection over them as they come out here and compete and play the game they love, and that you extend that hand of protection for safe travels on the way back home after the game. And as we kick off, I pray that all the fun that we have be a testament to how good you are, and no matter what the result is, whether it's win or lose, we give you all the glory, because it's in your name we play and pray. Amen.
As the captains meet in the middle of the field, captains for both of these squads, Mark O'Bannon, Tyler Ivey, Luke Giron, and Jamari Wilson for the Spirit, and for the Lions, Judah Holtzclaw, Amin White, Zach Fuller, and A.J. Shields make up your captains for today's game. Tim, it's so good to have football back. I can't express it enough.
Yeah, right around July is when you just start saying, okay, all right. Really, around April is when I start refreshing the website to see if we've got the schedule yet. So you see those dates, you set them aside, and you just get so hyped for them. And this is going to be a big one here today. Nelson wins.
And they will defer, as you would expect a defensive-minded head coach like Jared Hutchins to do. They want the ball at halftime, put the defense on the field, and set the tone. And we are just about ready. As Tim, let's talk about some of the players to watch for the Spirit. We just talked about the captains, and one of them being Luke Giron. Walk me through their quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback Luke Giron, he's the Offensive Player of the Week. He was the Offensive Player of the Year last year for the Sooner Athletic Conference. Last week, 19 completions on 29 attempts, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 13 rushes for 72 yards. That's after last year throwing for over 2,500 yards, 36 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions. He's everything you want in a quarterback. Then you got wide receiver Matthew Hicks. Last week, 2 catches, 59 yards. Both catches were huge, came in clutch moments. And then DL Corey Floyd, he was the sack newcomer of the year last year. He's not a newcomer anymore. Last week, 3 tackles for a loss, 1 forced fumble and a fumble recovery, and a sack and a half. You have got to contain him to give Judah Holtzclaw some shots out there.
As we get set to kick off, one of the first players I'm going to talk about to watch for Nelson is going to be incoming freshman Cade Whitehead. Tim, I got here a little before they started warming up, and I watched this kid hit a 60-yard field goal in warm-ups. So big leg out of this freshman. He was the Special Teams Player of the Year at the 4A level in high school last year in Texas. So a lot of things to look forward to. He's going to pooch this one just at about the 20. Fair catch called for and brought in, and that is where the Spirit will take over as the Lions defense trots out onto the field, led by new man up front, Ronnie. I say new man, newly best defensive player on your team, Ronnie Murphy. Got a couple sacks last week and looks to be Nelson's premier pass rusher. Tim, it feels like every season we come in here, the Lions have a new guy who is lighting it up on the defensive front.
There is always somebody hungry on that team. There is just always somebody up front who is ready to make a big play, and it's always so exciting to see who it's going to be this year. So, yeah, chance for Ronnie Murphy to break out today, going up against one of the best in the nation to do it.
Keep an eye on as well, number 5, Amip, your screen currently. And he'll be matched up on the best receiver for the Spirit primarily all day. First play from scrimmage, they will hand it off, running forward, spinning off of a tackle, and then picking up a good chunky yardage there on first down. 5 yards, make it second and 5.
And this is where you talk about that new rushing attack that they might be trying to integrate in. And on a day like today, when the heat is going to be a factor late in the game, if you can wear the defense out from the start, watch out to what this offense can accomplish.
Mason Dion with the first carry here for the Spirit from Waxahachie. 2nd and 5 incoming. Jerome hands it off again, and he slips, loses his footing. He's actually going to lose a yard, make it 3rd and 6.
Lions do a good job there of getting penetration right through kind of the B gap. The linebacker's the one who fight through the extra blocker. They put a man in motion to come around to the side and did not seal well. And so you bring up a 3rd and mid right here.
3rd and 6. Jerome in the shotgun. 4 wide, 2 either side. He checks to the sideline. Has plenty of time on the play clock, about 13 seconds left. The senior looking to capitalize on a huge 2024 season. Sends a man in motion. He's back to pass. Lets it go across middle field. It's popped up into the air, and it's almost intercepted. So close to being a game-changing, drive-killing turnover. Amin White just could not bring it in, and it'll be 4th down.
Amin White, you're not going to expect him to drop many of those. Now you watch right here. The receiver does a good job of just kind of backing himself into it right there to make it happen and break up. So he didn't have to do much, but it's probably enough interference to keep that from being intercepted. But either way, Nelson's defense comes out and, at least for the moment, has forced a 3 and out, barring no penalties, and there you go.
Punt is away. It's a fair catch called for by the up man. Is brought in the Jason Mendoza, the senior punter for the Spirit. Nelson will start off here at the 40-yard line. That is a good start, a good starting field position for the Lions.
Yeah, great spot to put your brand new quarterback making his home debut, Judah Holtzclaw. Really excited to see what we can develop here over the next few weeks.
Judah Holtzclaw, as we get ready to see the new quarterback for this Lions offense. 6'6", 235, big arm for Judah. He hands it off here to start this drive. Bounces off a would-be tackler, lowers the shoulder, and gets up. Ladarius Evans, freshman incoming with the first carry, and it's a good one, 4 yards right off the rip.
And that man in motion is going to be huge. You see him right there coming around to the outside, and he is going to be the one that helps seals that edge and create the hole that he can scamper through for a pretty decent first down gain.
2nd and 6, Holtzclaw will hand it off again, this time going nowhere, no gain, may have even lost a half a yard, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 6.
Nothing doing up the gap. Spirit stay at home and don't allow anything, and yeah, it will be a loss of 1. Make it 3rd and 7 now. Darius Evans is a new running back for this team as well. He's backed up by Marvin Sanders, who we've seen a lot of. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how that dynamic. There always seems to be a duo for the Lions.
It's a man in motion. Holtzclaw pumps, shakes off a tackle, and then he will end up being sacked. And that is a big, big loss yards. Brings up 4th down. Good stand by this Spirit defense. They were able to, good coverage. Looks like they only brought 4 and were able to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, nowhere for Holtzclaw to go with this one. And the pressure comes immediately. This was a problem for him last week, getting sacked. Offensive line just has to do a better job of giving him that time to go through his reads.
New punter this year as well, Roberto Alvarez for the Lions, freshman. A couple of freshman special teams players. He gets it off. It is a low line drive kick. Bounces at the 24, and it's fielded, tiptoeing up the sidelines and then out of bounds.
Mark it at the 27, where they will take back over. So the teams exchange 3 and outs to begin the game.
That was Grant Furry on the return, a grad student for the Spirit. They've got a couple of those guys with a lot of experience, including their starting running back, Mason Dion, who's got a couple carries so far today. First and 10, he will fake the handoff, looked across the middle, and it is brought in. Good coverage on that back end by White, but a better catch. Rather, I'm sorry, that was Jordan Walker in coverage, but a good pitch and catch there.
Yeah, Marquez Reese is the one who's going to haul it in, and yeah, very good coverage. Nowhere to put that ball except for the one spot it could go, and I mean, that's what you're going to expect from Luke Giron, the senior, who has just really been arguably the best quarterback in this conference for a couple of years now.
First and 10, 4 wide here still for the Spirit. Dion in the backfield. Back to pass here on first down. Clean pocket, lets it go to the sideline, and is brought in. Timing pattern, his receiver on the outside, Matthew Hicks, one of your players to watch, Tim.
Yep, run up the field, stay body to body with him, and then as soon as you peel off, you leave the defender standing still, you come back, catch it right at midfield. So 2 quick first downs to start this drive for the Spirit.
They are right at midfield, so a couple of inches away from being in Nelson territory, but 2 quick first downs on 2 passes here for Giron. H-back set, he hands it off. Dion lunges forward, picks up 6, make it 2nd and 4. And for the first time today, a team is in opposing territory, and it is the Spirits.
That's just right up the gut. That's so difficult to defend if you get beaten off the blocks. You have to rely on your linebackers to crash in. And if that's where you can find success starting the game off, you'll run a lot today.
They'll hand it off here on 2nd down. This time met immediately and brought down, actually losing a yard at Sagu front, or I'm sorry, the Nelson front. I knew it was going to be one. The defensive front for the Lions bring up a 3rd and 5.
It's going to be number 91, Ignacio Ceja, the freshman, breaking through to meet the running back initially, wrap him up, and then the gang tackle finishes him off. Bring up another 3rd down.
3rd and 5. The Lions are already 1 for 1 on the day in stopping 3rd down conversions. We'll see if they're up to the task again here today. They bring 4. They bring a couple on a delayed blitz on that backside. Giron rolling out, looking for anybody, throws it downfield, takes a hit as he gets rid of it. A big hit on that sideline, but it falls incomplete out of bounds as he throws it away. That'll bring up 4th and 5, and they will bring the punting unit out onto the field.
Interesting. They went for it on 4th down a couple of times last week, but they're going to play for field position right now. Great defense right here. Once they get him out of the pocket, everybody does the smart thing. Nobody over pursues. The guys in the middle start dropping back. They see that they have the help up front, so they're staying in between him and the receiver. It was just a great job to prevent anything from happening on that play.
End over end punt lands at the 20 and takes a Lions bounce out at the 21-yard line. And that is where the Lions will take over. 3 and out on their first drive. Look to get a little momentum here after another good defensive stand from this Lions defense.
And considering they're from the 45-yard line, this is a line of scrimmage, that's about the best you could hope for if you're Nelson, taking over at the 21-yard line. No real damage done. Back is not to your end zone, so now you need to come back out and, have some positivity. You have trips to the bottom there.
And there's only 2 covering at the bottom of your screen. We'll see what they go with here. Lions, they will swing it out to the screen. He's got blockers in front of him, takes off, out past the 20, past 25, driven out of bounds at the 30-yard line. They had numbers on that left side and decided to take advantage as he completes the pass to Deontay Saunier.
Yeah, I'll take that matchup over and over again. All you have to do is just kind of do your job. You don't have to do your job perfectly. As long as you bump the guy's going to pick up some yards. So 9-yard gain on first down.
2nd and 1, a coach's dream. 2nd and short, empty backfield here for Holtzclaw. Holtzclaw takes himself, designed QB run, and this is what we talked about. He's up the middle of the field, rumbling down to the 50-yard line. Right at midfield, Judah Holtzclaw turning on the Jets, and he kind of got through that first line real easily. Tim.
Yeah, you missed it right there, but he had to make that first cut in the, it looks good from the start, but then Ottawa, Arizona pursues it real well. He has to make a quick cut in the backfield. Once he's got that, he's got plenty of rushing room. Love the call on 2nd and 1 to let your big mobile quarterback take over a little bit, and the Lions have now crossed midfield.
1st and 10 from the 49. Holtzclaw double fakes, gives it off, and that play was going nowhere from the get-go. Decides to hand it off to his back with Darius Evans, and he gets brought down for a loss of Boy, a loss of 4.
Alex Cordova right up the gap, pretty much untouched. The only person he bumped into was his own arm, hitting him on accident. Going for a big loss back into Nelson territory. That's an assignment issue right there. Someone has to be, if a guy comes off the edge untouched, sometimes you understand it. Somebody has to bump a guy who is sitting there almost in the nose tackle position.
Empty backfield here for Holtzclaw. He sends B.J. Clark in motion. Bunch to the bottom of your screen. Holtzclaw looks, decides to take off with it. Evades a tackler, throws it downfield for Clark. B.J. Clark has it at the 20. 10, 5, touchdown Lions. What a play by Judah Holtzclaw to evade the pressure, rolling the other way and lobs it up downfield for B.J. Clark. And the first touchdown of this homestand, this home season for the Lions, is a big one.
This looks like a busted play. He looks out, doesn't have his look. He's going to run up the middle. This looks like a total lost cause rolling out. But Ottawa, Arizona does not stay at home. The man drifts behind the secondary. B.J. Clark hauls it in, and at that point, it is a jog into the end zone. Extra point is up and good. And so how about that?
Wow.
Lions knowing what they have to do today to try to play spoiler, a defense with 2 great holds so far. And then Judah Holtzclaw demonstrates why there's so much excitement around him. Keeping a play alive. When you roll out right like that or roll out left in that situation, that play feels dead 95% of the time. But he kept it alive, looked downfield with a strike for, we're calling it a 56-yard touchdown pass to B.J. Clark. What a start.
7-0, the Lions, as the hometown Nelson student section and fans love to see it, Tim. All offseason, we kind of heard this buzz about this guy they're bringing in, and we didn't hear a name for a long time. And finally, it came out, Judah Holtzclaw, again, the transfer from JUCO Kilgore College, and he looks every bit of the hype that we have heard as he connects with B.J. Clark, another hyped prospect from last year. The incoming freshman from day one was a starting receiver, and we really didn't get to see him get going last year. It's good to see him get started from the first home game.
Yeah, this is establishing some things early on that you want to see. And, of course, Judah Holtzclaw, if the name sounds familiar, he is, in fact, brother to longtime tight end here at Nelson, it feels like, Dakota Holtzclaw. So I'm waiting for that connection to start developing today as well, the Holtzclaw brothers.
Kickoff is fielded at about the 15, and a wave of Lions special teamers bring him down. They will take over at the 29-yard line. Now, it's not often a 6'6" individual has to be called the little brother, but I think that's only because Dakota is an astounding 6'7", a big family for the Holtzclaws.
Now, I don't know if they have a podcast together yet, though. I feel like all football brothers have to have a podcast, right?
I mean, legally, I think that's what has to happen. And we forget the sister also played volleyball.
Yes, so a little bit of Nelson University sports royalty,
which is wild because they're from Ohio. Somehow found their way down to Waxahachie, Texas. We'll take it. We're enjoying watching it. We have a timeout here. I'm not sure what is going on. An official stoppage. It's not a timeout from either coach.
We got the refs are talking to coaches on both sides of the field. Head coach Riley Murphy has actually drifted onto the field talking with, looks like we're trying to get some.
The tablet has come out at midfield with Coach Hudgens, and it looks like somebody from the Spirit sideline.
Wondering if this is maybe a jersey issue, a lineup issue, or something like that, that somebody's listed as wearing one number. That can be a big issue in baseball, we know, if you have a lineup card issue. Yeah, unsure at the moment what the powwow is there at around the 44-yard line between both head coaching staffs and all the officials now. But the players are coming off the field. Probably just to huddle up at them together. They're just coming off the side, their actual lineup. We'll see if we hear anything from the officiating crew or if that'll just stay a official conversation.
Look, if the ball stays at the 29, it's like nothing ever happens. I'm not sure what the stoppage was. The officials are still huddled up, conversing.
You know, if it was important, they would have told us.
I think so too. Yeah, yeah. If there's anything newsworthy, they would have gotten the microphone and told us what was going on. Anyway, as it stands, 1st and 10 from the 29 for the Spirit, who find themselves down 7-0 after the long touchdown pass from Holtzclaw to Clark on 1st down. Play action, back to pass. Geron is going to take a shot himself. He's got his man behind the defense. He brings it in at the 30, fighting off tacklers down at the 8-yard line. What an answer back from Geron all the way down the field to Marquise Reese, and they find themselves in a goal-to-go situation.
And that had to be perfect because Travion Jones was pursuing hot. He got beat initially, but he is hustling under this, and if that's about a half-yard behind, Jones is going to be able to break it up. He's able to bring him down, but yeah, the Spirit, after giving up a big touchdown pass, come right back with a huge bomb of their own to set up 1st and goal at the 9, or call it the 8.
From the 29 to the 8, 1st and goal. They hand it off up the middle. Lowers his shoulder, gets brought down at the 6.
Good job by the Lions defense. Again, staying at home. So far, we have not seen any massive holes open up. Picked up 3 or 4 yards here and there on these runs. But they've done a good job of containing that attack, which is crucial when you've got a quarterback like Geron that can beat you in so many ways.
Make it 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. Looking to answer back is this Spirit offense.
Thought we had another official timeout coming in there for a second. The ref had his arms spread out. I guess he was just holding the play up while the Lions threw in some subs.
Geron, back to pass. Pressure in his face to the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Spirit.
Wow.
What a pitch and catch from Luke Geron to his man in the back of the end zone. Looks like it's Frankie Valentino.
And you'll see it from this angle. That weaves through about 4 different players for initially, and that was so close to being broken up. But it is a dart through the obstacles. Now on to tie this game up.
Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and it is good. Eric Klein puts it through the uprights and ties this game up at 7-7.
So after a bit of a slow start for both offenses, they uncork in a hurry with 2 quick touchdowns. Luke Geron already approaching 100 yards passing now with 6 minutes left in the 1st quarter. Exactly what you would expect from him, and again, mainly helped by that deep bomb. So 29 to the 8.
The 60-yard pass, basically, 61 yards.
I'm not going to do that math right now. if the one number's already bigger than the other one to start, that's too many. It'd be a lot easier in football if we just had the 0 to the 100-yard line. I'd always be able to do the math, but when you have to count up halfway and then count down the other, that's too much for me on a Saturday morning.
They will kick it off. It is a short kick, and it's going to touch down. Uh-oh, that's dangerous. It is a live ball, and the Lions dive on it. That is about as perfectly executed a pooch kick as you can get by the Spirit. Gets the heart racing a little bit here, Ted.
And it looks like, I mean, it actually hit a Spirit player here, so this was going to be close to being scooped. To see here, the first person to actually touch the ball will be a Spirit player. Hard to see his number right there, but it bounced off of his leg. If he could have made a clean scoop right there, that's one of those 45-yard onside kicks.
Ooh, man.
And that's why I remind everybody, isn't it so fun to see real kickoffs on Saturdays?
Holtzclaw sends Holtzclaw in motion. He's back to pass. Judah across the middle, finds his man, ducks under a tackle, and then falls forward for a couple more. That was Gregory Kidry on the reception.
5'9" slot receiver sneaking in there. He was covered well, and I love that. I love getting over that or under that tackle, shaking the defender off to pick up a few extra yards.
Second and 3 here for this Lions offense. 3 wide to the left here for Holtzclaw. Sends a man in motion. Bad snap, but he handles it, hands it off, up ahead, spins off a tackle, ends up getting about a yard. maybe a little bit less Ladarius Evans.
They were looking at a 2nd and long 3, and now it's a 2nd and long 2. And right there you see immediately having issues. Once the running back has to adjust his path immediately because he's getting hit in the backfield, it's going to be hard for him to find a lot of success. Be able to fight for 1 yard, and this is a pretty big one right here. 3rd and 2. You're 0 for 1 on 3rd down so far today. This would be a nice one to pick up on your end of the field.
Sends a man in motion. He will keep it himself. What a read by Holtzclaw, and he falls forward for the 1st down. That is something we haven't seen here at this university in quite some time. I think back to the Reed Golson days when we see a quarterback running an RPO read option offense.
And I love the patience by Holtzclaw here. He holds on to the last second, and you can see everybody in the Spirit was buying it. They were watching the man in motion, and they were going hard to the right. He's able to just completely sell it. If you pull that ball back too quick, you're not going to pick up that 1st down.
1st and 10, new set of downs here for Holtzclaw and this Lions offense. And we get a whistle from the back judge.
Probably area false start. Almost made it 11 minutes without a penalty.
Yeah. You get Juan Nevis for the false start. Make it 1st and 15.
Had plenty of games where we haven't gone 11 seconds without a penalty. So early on in a season like this, one team playing their first road game, the other playing their first home game, first conference game in general.
Juan Neves on the false start, correction. He keeps it himself here on 1st and 15, falls forward for about 2, make it 2nd and 13.
So you see early on how important it's going to be for them to get Holtzclaw running. We've already seen a couple of design runs for him. That one didn't find a ton of success, but something you can clearly see that they want to establish.
They hand it off again on 2nd and long and lose a couple. That's going to bring up 3rd and very long, 3rd and 15 about here as he lost the initial yardage of the gain on 1st down.
Yeah, if the goal there was to catch the defense off guard, it did not work. So far, the only success the Lions have had on the ground has been with Holtzclaw on those RPOs. And it does feel like that's the only way you can really kind of get past this massive front of the Spirit. If they're not buying anything otherwise. They are coming after you. And whether they're getting to the quarterback or the running back, if they're that far in the backfield, you're going to have problems no matter what you're running.
3rd and long. Back to pass. Holtzclaw rolls out to his right, directing traffic. Lets it go downfield. Had a man deep and falls incomplete over his head. A little early contact, but I think that ball might have been uncatchable.
That's tight. I mean, first of all, great job by Holtzclaw yet again. This is the carbon copy of the touchdown pass, only he rolls out to his right this time, keeping the play alive, throwing on the run. Does just lead the receiver a bit too much, but there's definitely contact. I think they could already tell the receiver is having to lunge and reach for it, so they're going to call it uncatchable. So the Lions, after a big 3rd down conversion, can't overcome the false start.
Very low snap, almost blocked by the steer. Slow snap, rather, blocked by the Spirit. Up past the sideline. He's past the 44, past the 50, and he's tiptoeing that sideline, and he does end up out of bounds, but maybe just barely, as he sets up the Spirit in tremendous field position here at the 30-yard line. What a return.
And it was one of the gavels I was banging going into this game. You have to get more fundamental on special teams. As I've said a couple times already, Mid-America Nazarene did not have a scoring drive of over 52 yards, thanks in part to turnovers, but a lot of it, punt returns and then having a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Now here you are, set up deep in your own territory because you couldn't handle the fundamental job of just bringing the guy down on a punt. It was an issue last year, and it's something you got to clean up. You can't be giving a team like Ottawa, Arizona this good a field position.
They hand it off on 1st down. He's wrestled down to the ground, this time by Jonathan Bloom. Short gain, make it 2nd and 8.
Good job of Bloom to Velcro here. Hits him at the line of scrimmage, hangs on, gets a hold of that jersey and yanks him to the ground.
So 2nd and 8.
Ottawa, Arizona, they've slowed the tempo down. They came out real up-tempo to start the game, but I think they may be surprised what they've seen so far from the Nelson defense.
Giron keeps it himself on the read option, dives forward, and makes it 3rd and 1.
The two quarterbacks that can run, but already you can see the very different styles in their running. Giron, a much quicker runner than what you're going to see from Holtzclaw, but also doesn't have to make that last move there, and it will bring up a 3rd and 1 at the 21-yard line.
Tight formation in here, 2 tight ends for the Spirit. And they will hand it off, lunging forward. He's got enough for the first down, needed 1, picked up about 3. And that'll move the chains here for the Spirit, and they are in the red zone as we approach a minute left to play here in the first quarter.
Everybody won their assignment from the break there, and there was nothing really the Lions could do. Easy pickup on 3rd and short. Again, they excelled so much in their first win last week on picking up those 3rd downs, keeping drives alive, and a lot of that success comes from having 3rd and short situations.
Giron hands it off again, diving forward, lowers the shoulder, picks up nothing. It'll make it 2nd and 10. Mason Dion trying to find a little crease, and it just wasn't there.
And it's number 95, Tylen Hughes, the 6'4" freshman, who's getting blocked, but just sheds the blocker off enough so he can square up to the running back. Doesn't have to get in the backfield, pretty much just stands his ground from the snap. No gain.
They don't have to run a play if they don't want to, but here on 2nd and 10, Giron checks back to the sideline. 5 in the first quarter. They will run a play. Giron back to pass. Lets it go, looking for the corner of the end zone. Has his man. What an adjustment. Turns around and brings it in. Marquise Reese puts the Spirit up by a touchdown here as the first quarter expires.
And Jordan Walker gets turned around here. He has great coverage, but he misreads where the ball is going and starts running to the wrong part of the end zone. If he stays at home there, he is going to be able to break that pass up as he was in great coverage, but made a wrong read at the last second to allow doesn't really matter since it's first quarter, but essentially a buzzer-beating touchdown to close out the first frame.
Extra point is up, and it is good. 14-7 lead now for the Spirit. As we approach the second quarter, we've got our Nelson University Sports Network first trivia question of the season. Not just today, but of the season. Tim, Surprise, Arizona is the spring training location for what 2 American League MLB teams? You're a Rangers fan, so I know you know the Rangers play there.
I've got one. I've got that. There's your freebie, everybody. That's the one. I am racking my brain to think of the second. Obviously, the Cactus League out there, I can't even keep track of where each field is exactly. I think I have my second guess. I think I do. But I'll save that one. We already gave the audience a freebie. The 3rd place but gaining Texas Rangers.
Must be nice. Must be nice to have your favorite team be in contention in September and not eliminated by the first week of May every year.
Hey, I mean, look, there were plenty of years where all we had was our Paul Skeens, either Nolan Ryan or Kenny Rogers, and that's all you had, or even you Darvish. Yet once every 5 days you got hyped for a baseball game. The long suffering will pay off at some point in the future. I can't guarantee that.
It's been 30 years. I don't think that you understand.
Well, I happen to have another team that hasn't done anything for 30 years, so I do actually understand.
True. Second quarter underway as the ball's kicked through the end zone. It'll be a touchback for the Nelson Lions, and they will set up shop at the 25.
You almost need a flow chart now between college and pros of where you get the ball depending on where the kickoff goes out. Touchback or throwing your hands up, or in the NFL, it depends on where it lands in the quadrant. I think it's a little bit easier to understand in college. Touchback is 25-yard line, pretty much regardless of anything else.
1st and 10 here for the Lions. Holtzclaw fakes to the flat, goes the other way and finds his man. He's got blockers out in front of him, squeaks through but loses his footing and gets upended. But a good play design there on first down makes it 2nd and short.
Almost went huge right there. That was so close to being broken wide open by Ryan Zarcone.
Yep.
Just gets a shoestring tackle. I couldn't see who got a hold of his shoestring, but that saved at least another 10 yards.
Back to pass. Gets it out wide again. Same man, and he has enough for the first down. He fights forward again. Ryan Zarcone, back-to-back receptions, moves the chains.
And that's not an easy throw. You have a wide receiver kind of going in motion, and there's immediate pressure in Holtzclaw's face. It should just be a fundamental throw into the flat, but the Spirit don't make anything easy, and Holtzclaw had to put that one on the money and does.
1st and 10 moves the chains for the Lions. Holtzclaw back to pass again, 3rd consecutive pass. Steps up, dumps it off to his brother, Dakota Holtzclaw, the big man, rumbling down, 1st down. Connection moves the chains just shy of midfield.
And Ladarius Evans is the hero on this play. The running back does a great job of picking up the blitzing linebacker, holds him in place, and we get our first Holtzclaw brothers connection. We got a flag coming in here on a pass into the flat.
Interesting. The flag came out quick. The play was so fast, you can't imagine it's holding, but you never know. You never know. Let's see what the call is here.
Wow. Big. I thought he got grabbed a little awkwardly. Didn't see the face mask, but did see he was wrapped up around the head and shoulder area. So we can check a replay to see if it was. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious because it felt like it might have been. So a big break with a penalty there puts the Lions into Spirit territory at the 36-yard line after what was almost a blown-up play. It was going to put you in a 2nd and long.
1st and 10 fakes a handoff, faced immediate pressure, and he goes down. Ball did come out. It looks like the Lions fell on it, and it is Lions ball. Holtzclaw was able to fall on his own fumble.
And that's killer because Holtzclaw had 2 receivers he was looking at. Both had space right there. I think he was going to be looking right there to number 14, B.J. Clark. He had him heading towards the sideline. That was going to be an easy 1st down, but too much pressure. Gets hit and just lucky to get back on top of the ball to prevent a much bigger disaster.
4 wide, all to the left here for Holtzclaw. 2nd and 16. Gets him off sides. He's got a free play. He's taking a shot deep down the middle of the field. Has his man, B.J. Clark. Goes up, climbs the ladder, brings it down. 1st down on the free play. Holtzclaw to Clark.
There is nothing more I love than a quarterback who sees the situation and uncorks it down the field for a free play. That is just such heads-up football. Sometimes you'll see them check down. They'll panic a little bit. Now, go for it all. Holtzclaw, very impressive so far. Our first chance to see him heads up here has been great.
He will keep it himself.
Needs a little bit more time.
Loses a couple. Make another 2nd and long situation. As the Lions were in the red zone, now out of the red zone. We'll see what they come up with. Another 2nd and long situation here for the Lions.
Just a 2nd down, so still got a few downs to worry about it, but I will say the wind has picked up, which in some ways is a positive because I was about to need a mobile air conditioning unit in this booth. But at the moment, it could affect the kicking situation.
Back to pass. He swings it out to his man in the flat, trying to get something going east to west, but ultimately brought down out of bounds. That was a Jared Dotson Jr., and he picks up just a couple. He ran a long way for just a couple of yards.
That's the look you want to see on that swing pass there with your running back catching the ball full stride. But that just shows how solid this Spirit defense is. They stretched the play out, never gave him a gap he could cut through, and pursued him all the way to the sidelines where he couldn't make the corner. And there's a long way to run for the corner there.
3rd and long, Holtzclaw facing pressure. He loses the ball. It's on the ground, and it's picked up by the Spirit defense, and he's running with it, gets past a tackler, and he's finally brought down right at midfield. A heartbreaking, gut-wrenching turnover for the Lions as they were in field goal range and now give the ball right back to the Spirit.
That is a brutal turn of events. You're in the red zone. You're going to get a try for a field goal. Pressure again. The ball comes loose, and you had it right there. Oh, number 75 had the clear beat on it. Jose Reina, and just gets his own feet caught up. And then you give up a return on top of that to where Ottawa, Arizona is going to take over right at midfield. That's the kind of mistake you cannot afford in this game. Down 14-7. If you give your quarterback some time, maybe he converts it. Either way, you're going to try a field goal to keep the game close. Now you're in some tricky situations here.
Giron will hand it off to start this drive, lowering the shoulder, spinning off a tackle, and getting in Lion territory after one play. That was new running back into the game for the first time today. Jamari Wilson, one of the captains for the Spirit team.
Solid pursuit, though. Travion Jones going to be one that's getting the credit with the tackle. I always say this, the key thing on defense is staying at home. Don't buy anything. Don't over-pursue. Don't make a big mistake right now. If you could find a way to hold them right here and get the ball back, that would be a crucial stand.
They hand it off on the jet sweep, and he's got nowhere to go. Brought down on the outside. Big tackle in the open field.
Noah Kaurin, another freshman. Here, seeing a lot of big first-time names for us here today.
Yeah, Noah, I think it's Coffrin.
Coffrin. Again, spread the play out. He keeps looking, keeps trying to cut back to find the gap. It was never there, and finally you get to make your move, throw him for a loss. 3rd and 13. If you could find a way to keep any further damage from that turnover, that could be a defining moment of this game.
3rd and 13. Play action, back to pass. Giron steps up, takes off himself. He's going to have a lot of open field to work with. Cuts it back and is hit hard and brought down. Tried to cut it back, but was met with a big hit from the Lions defender. But he's going to move the chains further into Lion territory.
That's the brutal reality of playing a quarterback like Lou Giron. You get him out of the pocket. You have excellent coverage. He was trying to get the big hitter down the field. You had excellent coverage down there. You can do pretty much everything right, but he's going to keep the play alive long enough that there's a big gap for him to run through. He is just such an excellent player.
Trayshawn Ware delivering the hit. 1st and 10, carry for about 3, make it 2nd and 7.
So now the Spirit will slow it down again. A lot of substitutions in and out for them so far today. That hurry-up offense we saw early on, they've settled down and really kind of kept it very traditional since then, calling the plays in. And maybe some of that is the heat factor, too, keeping fresh legs out there on every play that they can.
2nd and 7, 4 wide, 2 either side here for Giron. Takes a snap back to pass. Facing pressure, lets it go towards the end zone. Incomplete. A lot of contact down there, but the receiver looked like he was falling away from the pass. So no call, makes it 3rd and 7.
And I think that's Amin White who's limping off the field. He was the one in coverage. It's not Amin White. It's hard to see from this far away. So he's actually, sorry, not number 5, number 6. It was Noah Coffrin.
Yeah, we saw him make that big tackle. Yep.
Those 5s and 6s can start to blend together when you're looking this far, but he is still on the field. He seemed a little twisted up after that play. So, yeah, there definitely was contact, but never enough to justify an interference. And there was also very solid pressure that came in on Giron to force that ball out, probably just a touch too early.
While we wait to see what goes on here, Tim, before we reveal the answer, let's get your guess. The Rangers and who?
I think it's KC. I think it's the Royals.
The Royals. I was going to say the Athletics.
So we got 2 shifty. He says Rangers and Royals.
That's one that backs you up. I'm going to say the Athletics. I don't know.
No.
It is the Royals and the Rangers. 2 shifty was 2 correct. Love to see that.
See, it is confusing. No, the Athletics play their home games at a spring training facility.
You know, as a fan of an East Coast team, I'm not really – the whole Cactus League doesn't make much sense to me. I'm more of a Grapefruit League kind of guy.
Well, and speaking of the Grapefruit League, that's where the Rays are playing this year. Two of the 15 AL teams are playing in minor league stadiums this year. Although I'm not going to lie, totally off topic, that A stadium has grown on me in Sacramento. I actually really enjoy watching games out there.
Interesting.
Very intimate environment, much better than that horrible Coliseum.
3rd and 7, completed pass across the middle, shakes off a tackle, but it is brought down. Fortunately brought down by the last man there, else it was going to go for a touchdown, but now inside the 10, it is a goal-to-go situation. 1st and goal from the 9.
Textbook quick slant, comes right out the gate, just sprints to that middle of the field before anybody can really, get in their positioning that they needed. Another 3rd down conversion. So the Spirit have now converted a 3rd and 13 and a 3rd and 7.
They're going to need to take a time. And Nelson has about 40 guys in the field right now. I'm not sure.
5, not yet.
They might have 13 guys in the field right now, Tim. Yep.
Yeah, there's at least 12. Yep.
I saw 3 come on and 1 come off. So,
and the Lions did get a timeout in.
They did. No penalty. Timeout. Coach Hudgens noticed he had maybe 13 guys on the field. And we'll get a quick break here as the Lions figure it out here on defense.
Looking ahead to the season, obviously you already have the loss at Mid-America Nazarene next week. The Lions will travel out to Arkansas Baptist, and it's a tough homestand this year. You open up with the 2 top-tier contenders in the Sooner, Ottawa and Texas Wesleyan. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Then it's a 4-week all-of-October road trip to OPSU, Louisiana Christian, Hardin, Simmons, and Wayland, before they're back home for the last 2 against Langston and Texas College. And obviously a lot of time to talk about this one before we get there, but that Texas College matchup, for a long time, let's just say, back especially in the CSFL days, that 10th game was often to decide between the Lions and the Steers who would get a win that year.
Yep.
There were many matchups
Yep.
that was the stakes. Not anymore. Texas College coming out of nowhere last year, where, again, it used to feel like their ceiling was maybe 3 wins. Uncorked their first winning season in program history.
Did they beat Langston last year? I think they did.
Yeah, they did. They stunned Langston. That was when we realized, this is for real. They're not just beating up on Arkansas Baptist and Lion. They're beating some solid teams.
1st and goal, they will hand it off, and he picks up 3, make it 2nd and goal 6.
The Lions defense has been so solid on the first 2 downs of this drive, but they have been unable to make the play when it matters on 3rd to get off the field, and that's why they're facing this goal-to-go situation.
They've been on the field a lot to start this game, and it is hot here in Waxahachie, Texas. That's got to take a toll on the defense.
And the Spirit are taking their time. They're letting that heat come down. Almost one of those games I might have flipped which jersey I wear. Make them wear their dark jerseys, you wear white.
2nd and goal from the 6. Giron sends a man in motion, takes a snap, fakes a handoff. We get a whistle, and
does feel like they had timeout.
Timeout. Okay, timeout by the Spirit. That was a late timeout, man.
And I think they saw that they had a man who hadn't set, so I think that was going to be an illegal formation or illegal motion for a 5-yard penalty. So quick reaction to call that timeout. Yeah, this is a pretty big moment right here. If you could find a way to hold them to a field goal attempt, keep this just a 17-7 game. You look ahead. There'll probably more than one possession here. We've got a live game look in. The Baker and William Penn all knotted up early in the 2nd quarter. But you talk about the way the rest of this half can flow. Obviously, it's still plenty of time left. Nope, we're not looking at the last drive yet, but you have that crucial setup of you're getting the ball first to start the 2nd half. So if you can keep this close, if you can keep this maintainable, you can try to stack those 2 possessions. We always talk about the end of the 1st, start of the 2nd to rally back. But that really does start here with trying to keep this to just be a 3-point attempt.
2nd and goal from the 6. Here's Giron back to pass. Faces pressure. Steps up. Evades the sack. He breaks off another one, and he's going to find his way into the end zone. Luke Giron accounts for 3 touchdowns today, 2 passing, and now 1 rushing. Beautiful job.
And this is the danger of him. Look at taking the brakes off, putting the brakes on a little bit. Travion Jones is coming with a full head of steam, and on most quarterbacks, you just keep powering through and lay the hit. But when you know you have a quarterback that's athletic, it makes you put the brakes on a little bit. You slow down. Maybe he's going to try to get around me. Maybe he's going to try to make a quick throw and to get back on defense. But putting those brakes on is what allows Giron to make the first move he needed. And after that, it's just weaving his way to the end zone. So, yeah, 3 touchdowns for him. And the turnover ends up going for a 50-yard drive from midfield. And the Ottawa, Arizona Spirit take a 14-point lead here in Waxahachie.
And that is you got at least a 10-point swing, because you're in field goal range when the fumble happens, and then they go down and score immediately. That's a crushing turnover for this Lions offense.
Yeah, having it not only take points off the board, but having the return go to the 50 to where you're setting them up with good field position, it's hard to recover from that. So that's the kind of stuff you can't afford in a game like this. You know who you're going up against. You know who you have to, what you have to do to pull off a win here today. And having a turn of events like that, like I said, is a potential 10-point swing. That's the kind of stuff. If you do that once or twice more, you can probably kiss this one goodbye. So it has to be fundamental from here on out.
Deep kick this time, and it's going to go through the end zone, so a touchback. Nelson will take over at the 25.
Look at the stats here. Jerome, 130 yards passing, 35 yards rushing. Again, he led the team in rushing in their first win last week as well. Third downs, they're at 60%. While the Lions are sitting there at 25, and that's, a crucial thing right there. And again, that will go down as a failed third down, that fumble.
Yep.
And so those moments are what dictate how a game can flow.
1st and 10, 6:48 left to play here in the first half. Here is Holtzclaw, sends his brother Dakota Holtzclaw in motion, back to pass. He's looking deep down the sideline. Back shoulder ball brought in. Beautiful pitch and catch to Zach Fuller, a name we called a lot last season. He's back for his senior year, making a big catch there on first down.
Such great route running, and he knows exactly where this ball is going. He keeps his eyes locked in ahead before he cuts back to make the catch. Back here on the play, it's another little hitch to Fuller.
Back to Fuller for a second straight completion. Picks up a short gain this time, picks up about 3. Make it 2nd and 7.
It's actually interesting. The Lions have been the one running the hurry-up offense while the Spirit have been slowing it down. Typically, in a situation where you're trying to be the team pulling off the upset, you're the one who wants to shorten the game. So it's kind of interesting to see those strategies differ. But also maybe the Lions should see the Spirit a bit on their heels, and they have to keep that defense on the field.
Holtzclaw sends a man in motion, ends up handing it off. Bouncing to the outside, shakes off a tackler, spins back. Beautiful move. Cut on a dime was Jaden Crosby, and that move is enough to pick up a first down. What a move. How shifty by Crosby.
Yeah, having to weave through this right here. Talk about trying to get to those corners. There really never was a hole. The Spirit stayed at home, and there was no hole for him to go through, so he had to make his own by shedding the tackle and doing that 6 spin move on the defender, because, yeah, there was nowhere for him to go. He had to make that happen on his own.
1st and 10 here for the Lions. Holtzclaw will keep it himself. Beautiful late keep, cuts it back, and picks up 5. That was a late keeper by Holtzclaw.
He is holding that. If there's a timer, he is holding that until there is 0.1 seconds left before the decision has to be made. And he's had some success with it already. And it freezes the defense, forces them to, finally make a choice. And I think that's what he's doing. He's reading them. He's reading them so well. And he finally sees the defender make that little bit of a move where he's going to go. And that's when he makes the decision whether to hand it off or keep it.
Holtzclaw on 2nd and 5. The Spirit show pressure. They bring it. Quick hitter to the outside. Has his man Fuller. Fuller is about a yard shy of the first down, maybe even half a yard. Makes it 3rd and short.
Holtzclaw and Fuller have been on target on this drive, though. Immediate timing routes. Excellent placement of all of these throws from Holtzclaw. We really haven't seen any errant throws from him so far. They've all been on the money, or at least, catchable.
3rd and inches here for the Lions. Holtzclaw keeps it himself. Design keeper, lowers the shoulder and picks up a couple that'll move the chains here for the Lions as they keep this drive moving as we approach 4 minutes left to play in the first half.
Yeah, don't have to worry about that one too much on what your play calls is when you're in a situation where you're going to be in 4-down territory and you got a 6'5" quarterback. You can not hand him the ball, but have him take over twice in a row if you need it. But he picks up the 2 they need, and now the Lions will slow down a little bit here. The clock ticks under 4 minutes.
Tight formation here for the Lions. Holtzclaw back to pass, faces pressure, dumps it out. Hit as he threw, and it ended up short of his intended receiver in the back, out of the backfield, Marvin Sanders. Makes it 2nd and 10, but it stops the clock.
Looks like Holtzclaw was really trying to buy a little bit too much time on this play. Probably should have thrown it a half step before, but he wanted to make sure his running back got a little bit further down the field, but hanging on a little bit too long ends up allowing the defender to get into his face.
Second and 10 here, 3 wide out to the right side.
Let's say the clock is running, but it shouldn't be.
Touch pass to his man. It's Crosby, and Crosby gets brought down, trying to go east-west, and could not make the man miss. Now it's 3rd and a mile as we approach 3 left to play here in the first half.
Braden Robinson is going to be the one to throw him for the big loss here. And those lateral runs are not finding much success so far. Again, the Spirit are just so good at stringing you out there. So now 3rd and very long. Need to pick up some yards here just to make this a potential field goal situation.
And they are going into the wind, so they got to pick up some yardage here.
Probably need at least 10 to make it something you'd even consider.
3rd and 16. Holtzclaw back to pass. Runs out of time and is hit hard. Ball comes out.
And they're saying he was down.
He was down by contact, but he took a shot as that pocket collapsed.
And he is
gets up slow.
Real slow. Not what you would want to see at all. See here on the replay as he is hammered.
Driven down as well.
Going down, and yeah, it does appear that's when the ball pops out, is when he hits hard on his back. But another drive that had a lot of potential. You got down to the 34-yard line, and from that moment on, it was all backwards until now you're all the way at the 50. Well out of field goal range, well out of any chance of going for it on 4th down. So 2 really good drives here in the second quarter, netting you nothing, and primarily because you couldn't protect your quarterback. Hey, we got our first quad box of the season here. We got Evangel taking on Southwestern. The other Southwestern. Well, again, we're not Southwestern anymore. No. So it's
we don't have to go at the other Southwestern.
The disambiguation is no longer needed. Then St. Francis taking on Siena Heights. That's a 15 versus 13 matchup there, Evangel versus Southwestern. So that's a big one here in, call it week 3 of the NAIA, of which week we're, there's week -1, week 0, week 1.
Punt away, and it is going to go out of bounds. It just shanked off the foot of the punter. Wind is currently going from the right side of your screen to the left side of your screen. I don't know the whole northeast, southwest, but that's the best way I know how to put it. So he was going into the wind and off the side of his foot, and it's going to result in very good field position for the Spirit as they take over at the 41.
41. That's a 9-yard punt. That is a tough one right there. I mean, your thought process punting from the 50 is that you can at least pin the Spirit deep and, with only 2 minutes left, hopefully try to run this half out. But this is just excellent field position now. They started inside their 30 on the first 3 drives. The last 3, I'll get to it in a second here, is this first down run.
Big first down run. The hole opened up, and he picked up 9 right at midfield. It'll be 2nd and 1.
Yeah, these last 3 drives, they started on the Nelson 30, they started at midfield, and they started on their own 41. 2 of those because of special teams, 1 because of a turnover. The thing we harped in pregame that you absolutely had to avoid.
That turnover really started all this momentum towards the Spirit way. Absolutely, down 14-7, driving inside Spirit territory in field goal range.
And what set up their first touchdown was the punt return, the around 25-yard punt return down to the 30-yard line. So lack of punt coverage, turnover, and then a bad punt off the leg of the punter is giving the Spirit a chance to, really create some breathing room here before halftime.
At the 2-minute timeout, we find the Spirit up 21-7. And driving. They've got a very good chance here to go up 3 scores to close the half. And that would be About as perfect of a first half as you can imagine for the Spirit, though. The lone touchdown that they give up come up on a busted play, just a long 50-plus yard touchdown pass. Other than that, this Spirit defense has been very, very good.
Stepping up when they had to. I mean, obviously the Lions have crossed midfield twice since then, but have been unable to put anything on the scoreboard. So it doesn't matter if they put yards on you. If you never let them get in the end zone or even line up for the field goal, you're going to be just fine as a defense.
2nd and short, 2nd and 1 here for the Spirit. Giron back to pass, deep drop. He's taking a shot deep down the field, down the middle, overthrows everybody. He does have the wind at his back. That might have played a little bit of effect there, as that was about 10 yards over the head of any player on the field. It'll bring up 3rd and 1.
And that's the kind of play you can drop on 3rd and 1 when you're pretty confident that you got 2 shots here to pick up the yard. Just go for it all right here. See if you can get in the end zone real quick. If you get in the end zone that quick, maybe you're looking at getting another possession before the half is over.
You never know.
So it is 3rd and 1 here. So if the Lions could make a real big play, they could even somehow dissuade them from going for it on 4th down, or make call it a goal line stand at the 50, because if they get beyond here, they're probably putting points on the board.
3rd and 1. Giron will keep it himself, cuts it back. He's got the first down, squeaks through. He's past the 40, down past the 30, brought down from behind, down at the 20-yard line. Luke Giron keeps it himself and drives the Spirit into the red zone. And we've got a Lions player slow to get up.
Yeah, it's going to be, trying to see who catch the number here, but it's actually who made the tackle, landing awkwardly. Still can't quite catch the number right there of who made the tackle. So good job to finally catch up and bring him down. But in another 3rd down situation, again, 3rd and 1, you're not expecting a stop, but that forces you to really crash up front. And once Giron got past that first line of defense and the blocks were made, off to the races and back to the red zone. Now looking at over 66% on their 3rd down conversion rate for the day.
Coincidentally, Luke Giron, 66% completion.
Yeah, and that probably doesn't quite account for the last play yet either, so probably push that over 70, since he's showing Giron's rushing yards at 35, and that was just 30 right there. Yeah, he's going to be pushing over 65 rushing yards in the first half, a rushing touchdown, 130 yards passing. It's the reason why that they have aspirations of not only being back to the playoffs this year, but going even further. You hate to see how long players been down after making the big-time tackle to at least prevent the score on at the moment. And we'll give the defense their chance here to have another stand. Good to see him up. All right, so it was finally get a clean number here. It's Trayshawn Ware who's going to be the one who, again, made the touchdown-saving tackle. He's back up now. Hopefully that's just a real bad stinger, and he can be back in there in the second half.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 19 here for the Spirit. 1:43 left to play in the first half. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining.
And this is really when you start talking about turnover territory. This is when you come in with the grass, the punches, whatever you got to do, because you really need to force a turnover here to stop points being added. The only way.
Giron takes a snap, fakes to his right. He's going to take off, directing traffic down the field, tucks it and run to the 10, cuts it back, shoved down out of bounds. It's going to be another first down here for Luke Giron, and it'll be a goal-to-go situation now from the 6-yard line.
Absolutely taken over with his legs now.
You said it, Tim. You said it to start the game. Giron, he drops back to pass. If it's not there, he's going to take off. He's accounted for almost 90% of the offense today for the Spirit has come from the arm or the legs of Luke Giron. Done a very good job and has been very efficient as well.
Yeah, it's hard to find any negative plays he's accounted for.
He will hand it off here on 1st and goal, trying to push the pile. No whistle yet. Finally brought down. Picks up about 2. Make it 2nd and goal from the 4.
Spirit will be content to let the clock wind down right now to prevent another Nelson drive. wouldn't quite be what you call a dagger this early in the game, but if you can put 28 on the board and go into the locker room up 21, you feel very good about where you are.
Second and goal from the 4, under 45 seconds left to play here in the first half. He'll hand it off on the jet motion, sneaks into the corner of the end zone, touchdown Spirit, and they're looking to go up 28-0.
Marquez Reese.
Second touchdown of the day for Reese.
Yep, this time it's going to be running. That quick motion, and he catches it with a full head of steam, and there's no way you're getting him to the corner there. No way to string that play out long enough, and so again, another drive for the Lions that falls apart at the 30-yard line. Will it very quickly result in an Ottawa, Arizona touchdown, as they will have scored now after this extra point. Wait for the official 28 straight.
28 straight points here for the Spirit as their offense has really taken over this ball game. With 37 seconds left to go in the first half, the Lions have to figure out something on defense. Granted, they have been out there a lot, Tim, based on turnovers and short drives. This defense is really going through it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so, this is an offense that can put points on just about anybody. And really, and the tough thing is outside of that first drive, they had the first drive that went down to score to, again, tie the game up. That was a pretty lengthy drive, 71 yards. But again, look at these last three, 30-yard drive, 50-yard drive, 59-yard drive.
Yep.
You really can't afford to have this team facing any sort of short field. You have to force them to go 75 to hold them in check. And so between the offense and special teams miscues, the defense has been on their heels. And they've gotten to a couple of third downs. The real killer one was the last drive. As we will bring it out of the end zone here. See what we can make happen.
Deep return here. He cuts it to the outside. He's got some room to work with here. Now down past the 30, past the 40, steps out of bounds. Flag does come in at about the 30-yard line.
That'll bring back. Obviously, I get it. You're down 21 points. Make something happen. And he did make a good return there. Meanwhile, every time he touches the ball, you get a little bit excited. But the penalty is going to undo most of that return, it appears. But yeah, you really go back to that sequence as we get the call here.
Do return, holding, 113, number 9. Take out the spot at the back. First down line.
But you have the sequence of the fumble return to the 50. What should have been cutting the game down to a 14-10 lead. Instead, they had the ball at the 50. And then twice on that drive, the defense got to a 3rd and long and then a 3rd and mid and couldn't make the stop either time. So that little sequence right there, both phases of offense and defense had chances to make something happen, and it all unraveled on you a little bit, and that's why you're going to find yourself barring a big-time play here and a pretty big hole going into the half.
Back to pass, Holtzclaw, quick hitter to the outside, ducks out of bounds, picks up a handful of yards there on first, make it 2nd and 6.
Wind's in their face. As you mentioned pregame, you saw Cade Whitehead hit a 60-yarder in warm-up. Now, it's
the other direction.
The other direction. It's a little bit different when there's people out there who can block as well. You can't quite line drive it as well. But if you were to get to maybe the 35, you'd try something here.
Holtzclaw steps up. He's going to take off. He's going to let it go and look out of bounds. Had his man. A very last second, it looks like he decided to let that one fly. I thought maybe he was going to take off with it.
Might have had a little bit of room to run, but considering the clock situation, probably best to just let that one sail. You kind of got one more play here. If you don't pick it up, then you'll have to punt, which is a risk in and of itself, really.
3rd and 6, 4 wide, empty backfield here for Holtzclaw. His brother at the H-back position, back to pass. Screen to Dakota Holtzclaw. He's got enough for the first down and gets brought down. 12 seconds left to go. Clock will stop as the chains move. The Lions do have 2 timeouts, and they will take one here. 1 left for this offense, but it does move the chains, and it prevents them from having to punt the ball back to the Spirit.
Yeah, don't want to set that up, that kind of situation. So, this is what you hate to see right here. Look at the stats. How about Holtzclaw? 144 yards passing and a touchdown. 13 for 16. They got 14 for 17 now, 154. That's exactly what you want to see. You see those stats and you don't imagine yourself in a 21-point hole, but what you don't see there is the sacks. One forcing a fumble, another one forcing you out of field goal range.
Well, I mean, the rush yards are at -2, and that takes into at this level takes into effect the sacks take away the rushing yards that he has picked up so far this game. Yes. That's a drive killer.
Yep.
Sacks are drive killers. You do have the fumble, which also hurts as well, but
which came off of essentially that's probably going down in the books as a sack.
Absolutely,
in the backfield.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got 11 seconds here. You got a timeout, so you do still have time for potentially 2 quick plays. If you could somehow pick up 10 and 10, at the very least, if you get to the 50, you know Holtzclaw's got the arm to heave it to the end zone. So you have a Hail Mary situation.
1st and 10 from the 34, 11 seconds left to play. Holtzclaw drops back. He's facing pressure again. He's going to get brought down again, and they should take that to half, and they will. The clock will expire on another sack by the Spirit as they go in up 28-7. Commanding lead for the Ottawa of Arizona Spirit football team. Got to be happy with that first half. You have to be happy.
Yeah, especially the way it started. You start with a 3 and out in the punt. You go down 7-0, and maybe the vibe shifts a little bit in here. You start thinking about, oh wow, maybe this can really unfold the way the Lions need it to. But since then, it's been 4 straight touchdown drives. The defense has gotten to has gotten to Holtzclaw over and over again. By my mental count, I believe that's the 5th sack of the first half. So they've done such a great job of getting back there to limit what he's been doing through the air when he has time. Meanwhile, Luke Jerome, exactly what you expect. 79 rushing yards, 130 total passing yards, so over 200 total, 3 touchdowns, and Marquez Reese with a rushing touchdown and receiving touchdown of his own. So they have done exactly what they need to now to be in a very solid situation with second half start. The Lions will get the ball first second half, and that'll be a crucial drive.
Oh, it's a must.
Moment.
It's a must touchdown situation to start the second half. They have to get in the end zone again if they want any shot at taking this one against the Spirit. As we wait for the newly minted Nelson University marching band to take the field for their halftime show, we're going to go down to our field reporter, Kiara D'Amato, who's with offensive coordinator Blake McCullough. Kiara, down to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, fans of Nelson University, the moment has arrived. From the heart of Lion Nation, where tradition wars.
Coach, BJ Clark scored your first and only touchdown early in the first quarter. Talk to me about his performance so far today.
Yeah, really proud of BJ. It's been a touchdown. She's a year in the making. Really proud of him and really proud of his ability to scramble there with the quarterback. Just got to build off that now.
Judah Holtzclaw is 14 for 17 on pass completions today. He's getting comfortable in that quarterback position. What's it going to take to get him explode in the second half?
He's doing a great job. As we talked about all week, he's got to value the football, and he is. We're just not playing very good up front around him. We're not doing a good job picking up blitzes and stunts and really just winning our one-on-ones. So it's tough to be better if you can't get those things fixed. But we got to this half.
Ottawa's known for their offense. They're under a new head coach this season. Talk to me about their defense and how you're going to keep them shut down in the second half.
Defense is really good. We still like our plan. Getting the ball out as quick as we can and still running at these guys. We can't give up on our run game just yet. So excited to come back and battle. That's all we can do.
Thank you so much, Coach. Back to you, Adam.
Thank you, Kiara. Thank you, Coach McCullough. 28-7 your score here at halftime. Don't go anywhere. Second half coming your way right here on the Nelson University Sports Network.
Your power is unstoppable. And with us cheering you on, there's no limit to where it can take you. Baylor Scott and White Health, the power to live better.
Lion fans, let's give a big hand to the Nelson University.
Raising Cane's makes perfect chicken finger meals by marinating every chicken finger for 24 hours. That's a long time. I don't even know what I was doing 24 hours ago. But those mouth-watering chicken fingers were marinating the entire taste-tempting time. Impressive, since 24 hours is longer than most celebrity marriages. On that note, our chicken fingers, cane sauce, crinkle-cut fries, coleslaw, and Texas toast are the perfect marriage of fresh and tasty. Raising Cane's, one love.
The value of champions character across all institutions is a message that we can all get behind.
The purpose behind Champions of Character is to have that student-athlete experience be one of growth.
Men's basketball on campus, we make sure that we give back with a smile and with a purpose.
Our goal as coaches is for our players to leave being better men, better husbands, better fathers, and better members in their community.
NAIA is Champions of Character.
Your power is unstoppable. And with us cheering you on, there's no limit to where it can take you.
Hi, I'm Heisman Trophy winner NFL Hall of Famer Tim Brown, and you are watching the Nelson University Sports Network.
Feels good, don't it?
Here is the perfect chicken finger. 4 of them, actually. They're hand battered. They're cooked to order. And made with love. Raising Cane's chicken fingers will make you say, "Oh yeah." Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Your power is unstoppable. And with us cheering you on, there's no limit to where it can take you. Baylor Scott and White Health, the power to live better.
It all began in 1937. A vision to start something different, something better. A college athletics association where competition wasn't just about the scoreboard, but about character, growth, and rising together. From that first tip-off, the NAIA has grown in size and in spirit, in the way we play, the way we lead. Make athletics greater than a game.
This is college athletics the way it was meant to be. This is the right way to play.
Hi, I'm Heisman Trophy winner NFL Hall of Famer Tim Brown, and you are watching the Nelson University Sports Network.
Feels good, don't it?
Your power is unstoppable. And with us cheering you on, there's no limit to where it can take you. Baylor Scott and White Health, the power to live better. Your power is unstoppable. And with us cheering you on, there's no limit to where it can take you. Baylor Scott and White Health, the power to live better. Your power is unstoppable. And with us cheering you on, there's no limit to where it can take you. Baylor Scott and White Health, the power to live better.
Raising Cane's makes perfect chicken finger meals by marinating every chicken finger for 24 hours. That's a long time. I don't even know what I was doing 24 hours ago. But those mouth-watering chicken fingers were marinating the entire taste-tempting time. Impressive, since 24 hours is longer than most celebrity marriages. On that note, our chicken fingers, cane sauce, crinkle-cut fries, coleslaw, and Texas toast are the perfect marriage of fresh and tasty. Raising Cane's, one love.
The value of champions character across all institutions is a message that we can all get behind.
The purpose behind Champions of Character is to have that student-athlete experience be one of growth.
Men's basketball on campus, we make sure that we give back with a smile and with a purpose.
Our goal as coaches is for our players to leave being better men, better husbands, better fathers, and better members in their community.
NAIA is Champions of Character.
Welcome back to the Nelson University Sports Network. We are ready for half number 2 coming your way here between the Auto of Arizona Spirit and the Nelson Lions. The Lions, in their home opener, find themselves down 28-7 in desperate need of a score here to open up half number 2. Tim, tell us how we got here.
Yeah, we got here. I would say it's not stunning to see this score. It's not stunning, but how we got here has been a little surprising and very disappointing for Nelson. Obviously, you open up the game, you force 2 punts for the Spirit. Meanwhile, you go down the field, get a 56-yard touchdown to take a 7-0 lead. Then after that, you give up a long touchdown drive to Auto Arizona. And then the turning point of the game is that punt return. You have a punt return for about 25 yards, sets up Auto Arizona deep in your field position. Ever since then, you had the fumble, you had another punt after a good drive. Auto Arizona has had good field position since then. They've opened up a 28-7 lead. So it's not the most shocking thing in the world that you're down 28-7 to one of the best teams in the country. But what you're kicking yourself about is this could be a lot closer.
Pooch kick is fielded just shy of the 30. Cutting it back east-west, he gets brought down. Good field position here to start for Nelson. They're going to take over just shy of the 40-yard line at the 38.
As you mentioned, going into the half, this is a must-score drive for the Lions if they want to have any chance of getting back into this one, or again, even keeping it competitive. This will be the second best starting field position for the Lions. They started their first drive at their own 40. That drive has actually been their only 3 and out of the half of the game so far. They've moved the ball pretty well.
Holtzclaw designed run, runs into his own lineman and goes down. Nothing doing there. It'll be 2nd and 12.
Just haven't had any consistent success. And Holtzclaw's been the only one who has picked up rushing yards and has been that way, trying to weave his way through. But you talk about this offensive line, it's been an issue the last few years. And it's hard to assemble a top-tier offensive line. But at some point, I've said this before in past seasons, you just got to get in somebody's way. Don't worry about making the biggest play. Just buy your quarterback a 2.5 seconds to do something.
Holtzclaw going across the middle, thrown behind his intended receiver, his brother Dakota. And it's broken up, though. Good coverage by Tyler Ivey, the senior linebacker for the Spirit.
Great coverage, and yet again, that ball out earlier than he wanted to because of the pressure, the blitz coming right in his face right after the snap. I mean, again, we're talking half a second to throw here. It's snap and the defender's coming full speed. Not nearly enough time for any quarterback to find success.
3rd and long, back to pass. Holtzclaw steps up, facing pressure. Shakes off a sack, lets it go down the field. Diving catch. Waiting for a ruling.
They're going to say
they will say it is a catch. They're going to confer, but if it stands, it is a catch. First down. They needed about 12 and picked up 14.
Another one that's all Holtzclaw. He's going to roll out right here after getting hit hard. Looks like he's about to go down for what would be probably his 6th sack of the game. Rolls out right, hits the receiver in stride. They're going to say he held onto it.
Oh my, RPO. Holtzclaw kept it and was met immediately by a Spirit defender. Just nothing doing there. Just no blocking up front there for Holtzclaw.
He's been really good at reading those so far this game. That time he misread. That's the one he should have stuck in the running back's gut and let it go. Instead, it's going to be a 5-yard sack.
2nd and 15 incoming after the first down completion. To get the first down, rather. Holtzclaw will keep it himself on the read option. Spins, only picks up a couple. It'll be 3rd and long here again. Another 3rd and 12 situation here for this Lions offense.
And I know I've said this before about Auto Arizona. There's a different set of players out there from when we last saw them 2 years ago. But sometimes it just feels like there's waves of them over and over and over. It just shows how well coached they are and how fast this defense is, that it feels like there's more than 11 guys out there. After Holtzclaw made that first move, it felt like he had some daylight, and then immediately it's gone. And what you felt like was going to be maybe an 8 or 9 yard gain, it's just 3.
3rd and 12 incoming. 3 wide out to the left here for Holtzclaw. Sends Zach Fuller in motion. Spirit bring 4. Holtzclaw clean pocket. Lets it go. Oh my goodness. BJ Clark had a hand on it and almost made the catch of the year. Wow. but it falls incomplete. That was almost insane.
Wild is I don't think B.J. Clark is the intended receiver on this one. The routes cross. He had some little bit of confusion on the route tree.
They're going for it here on 4th and 12.
And, I mean, honestly, now Ottawa's putting a man back like they might. So you're only facing 10.
It looks like they will. Yep.
Okay.
Holtzclaw to punt. End over end. How about that? Judah Holtzclaw.
Okay.
What an athlete.
You know what? We were trying to talk comps with him pregame. We were debating comps. Can I just throw out a real throwback here? How about Danny White, the Cowboys kicker, our punter quarterback combo back in the 70s and 80s? That's the best punt we've seen all day. Holtzclaw is supporting the weight of this team on every side of the ball. So another drive where you get a big play from Holtzclaw and it all peters out because of a lost play on first down. You have to punt it away. And Ottawa, Arizona takes up 21.
Giron will hand it off here on first down. He picks up a couple, making 2nd and 8. Gives it to Mason Dion again.
Number 7, George Walker.
The Spirit starting this half off just like the last time. They are being very controlled on offense, and some of that may be having a new head coach. Obviously, you don't need to be going hurry up right now, but it's been very controlled, very methodical on getting those plays in. I feel like in the past we'd see them run a lot quicker than what we've seen today, and obviously it's found great success so far.
They ended up giving him 3, make it 2nd and 7. Giron back to pass here on 2nd down, facing pressure, hit as he throws, but he still completes it wide open across the middle of the field, makes a man miss, and he's down out of bounds just shy of the 50. What a throw by Luke Giron, facing pressure, and he's able to complete it. Strong throw across the middle.
I mean, that is stepping into an oncoming freight train. That takes such poise as a quarterback to be willing to take that hit, deliver it perfectly. It didn't tuck his elbow at all. A little bit of reckless abandon there to unleash that one to convert, not a 3rd down, but a 2nd and mid situation. Now you're already approaching midfield.
They will hand it off here on first down, up the middle. A good chunk of yardage there. Call it 5, make it 2nd and 5 here for this Spirit offense. Tim, they haven't slowed down whatsoever from out of halftime.
Now, it's hard to even remember back to the last time they really got thrown for any sort of negative play.
Yeah.
They have stayed ahead of the chains since their 3rd drive of the game when they've unleashed scoring drive after scoring drive.
2nd and 5 incoming here for this Spirit offense. Sticking with the same formation, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Tight end on the left side. They hand it off here on 2nd down, spinning, trying to push the pile. He picks up 1 tough yardage there, and it'll be 3rd and 4.
Another 3rd down situation, and the Lions defense has not allowed themselves to be beaten on the ground today at all. Any big runs have been Luke Giron coming out of the backfield, on a originally designed pass play and scrambling for it. They've done a really good job of preventing this rushing attack from completely bowling over them. But the Spirit just kind of stay ahead of the chains, and again, facing a 3rd and very makeable. But this would be a big one to make a stop right here. Oh, and might be a little bit less makeable now.
We'll see what this call is. Obviously, didn't see much there.
Nope.
Illegal snap on the offense, he said. I didn't see the snap come out. I'm not sure.
And sometimes that is just kind of moving the ball incorrectly, which is, to me, is a little bit the same as false start.
Yeah, it was a live look. It's probably what happened. He might have moved the ball up, making it an illegal snap. So now, as you mentioned, it goes from 3rd and 4 to 3rd and 9, which is significant. That is a big yardage difference. We'll see if the Lions defense can get off the field here and keep this a 28-7 game. 3rd and 9, Giron back to pass, facing pressure. He's going to get brought down. Oh, he breaks out of the sack initially. That was almost scary for the Lions defense, but ultimately, the man who initially wrapped him up was able to bring him down. That was Kobe Geeter was able to bring down Giron, and the punting unit does come out, so the Lions with a big stop on defense.
Yeah, that was a huge stop by the defense. Finally getting home to Giron, making a big sack Although, like you said, it got a little dicey there for a split second. He was still standing after the third hit, and there was some room to run if they hadn't finished him off.
Punt is away, and it's a low line drive, end over end, and it goes out of bounds. We'll see where they mark this. It landed at about the 32, and that's where they will mark it. So that's where Nelson will take over.
So another bite at the apple here to get back into contention of this one. The defense does a good job after a couple of first downs given up, tighten up at midfield and not allow any more points on the board. And so trailing by 21. You're looking for that big play, maybe that one big busted play down the field like you had earlier, to get back into a reasonable distance from the Spirit, with still plenty of time to go in this one.
1st and 10 from the 32. Holtzclaw still in the shotgun. Sanders in the backfield. He's going to hand it off to Sanders. Sanders, we called his name a lot last year, and now you see why. The shiftiness to get up across the chains and move it on first down. Haven't called his name a lot today. It's good to see him getting going here.
Yeah, that's a great first down run. Throwing a little speed at the Spirit.
No huddle. Here's Sanders again. Sanders up the middle. Again, back-to-back runs for first down. So a quick 20-plus yardage here for Marvin Sanders. He gets up. He's fired up. I think Tim, at this point, the senior wants the ball in his hands.
Yeah, we did not see much in the first half, and the change of pace at the moment has thrown Ottawa, Arizona for a bit of a loop, and the first success the Lions have had all day on the ground.
Holtzclaw gets crushed as he throws. The ball's in the air, and it's brought it. Oh, and it is incomplete. He had it in his arms at the 1-yard line, and just that came out. Deontay Saunier.
That would have been permanent highlight reel stuff if it had happened. Holtzclaw hanging in the pocket, throwing a rainbow while he's getting absolutely crushed. And it was a tough catch to make too, but it's so close to being that big play you wanted. And slow the tempo back down now and keep this drive going.
2nd and 10, they'll hand it off to Sanders. Sanders looked like there might have been a lane, but it was closed quickly by the Spirit defenders. That'll make it 3rd and 9, another long third down situation here for the Lions.
And it's definitely 4-down situation past midfield in your current, deficit. So you have a lot to look at on this play. And if you can only pick up 4 or 5, you have to scramble a little bit.
They are close to field goal range here from what we saw pregame. And Cade Whitehead with a freshman with a big leg. 4 wide, 2 either side. He sends Sanders in motion, so it'll be empty backfield. Holtzclaw back to pass. He lets it go, looking for Clark, and it is incomplete. Double coverage, bracket coverage there by the Spirit defensive backs, and it falls harmlessly incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down.
He put the ball in a pretty good spot, all things considered. It was definitely catchable. You see the contact come in here pretty much right at the right moment. Maybe a half second before, but not anything that's going to get called for pass interference to prevent him from hauling it in.
Punt it again. Jerome gets it away. It's a high end-over-end punt, and it lands at the 5, bounces backwards, and it'll ultimately settle at the 10-yard line.
I think we might be done joking about the Holtzclaw as punter situation here. The first one was a good distance punt. That one he actually got to skip up at the 6. At first those weren't going to be a touchback. Instead they will pin inside the 10-yard line. So unfortunately you don't get the points that you absolutely needed there.
Quad box, Tim. Look at that.
Back at it. Evangel up by 9 at the half against Southwestern. Baker and William Penn all knotted up at 10.
That's a top 25 team that's tied with an unranked team, Tim.
That's a tight one. And meanwhile, St. Francis and Siena Heights all tied up at the start of the third quarter there. A couple of more big matchups coming up. St. Thomas and Lindsey Wilson later today.
It's early. We were the first game to kick off here this morning, so we don't really have a ton of action going on, but we'll bring you what we can.
Yeah, big noon kickoff here in Waxahachie, am I right?
Big 11 a.m. kickoff. Oh, I love these early games, though. These are awesome.
Noon Eastern for anybody happy. I can't imagine we have many East Coast viewers today with our audience coming in from Mountain Time. So
hey, we saw that graph of the NAIA and the college football teams. Like 85% of them were over east of the Mississippi. So you never know. You never know, Tim.
We always got a couple of alumni watching from like Tuvalu or something.
New Zealand.
Somewhere in the middle of the Pacific.
Here's 2nd and 9. Giron looking for something, rolls out, lets it go, gets hit as he throws, and he completes the pass. What a tough throw by Luke Giron, and finds his man who was tightly covered. But Jersey Blassingame finally get to call his name. One of the best names that I read on the rosters here to start this game. Picks up the first down.
And another one where Giron fully steps into it and exposes those ribs to the blitzing defensive back, and is just willing to take the hit to deliver a strong strike. And again, a little bit of double coverage there that is able to thread it through to pick up the first down.
1st and 10. Giron flips it out quick to Blassingame. He breaks a tackle, throws a stiff arm, and he's got room to run. He turns nothing into something, and it was going to be a tackle for loss, but he ends up turning it into 4 yards, make it 2nd and 6.
That's pretty huge. Right here, you feel like he's going to be blown up to the line of scrimmage, and then at this point, he's starting to lose a few yards, but the stiff arm creates the separation.
Wow.
That is just, that's not one of those throw him to the ground stiff arms. That is just stay away from me. Does a great job of getting to the sideline. Yeah, picking up 4 yards that otherwise would have been sitting at a 2nd and 12.
And hand it off here, and he's got to the outside, and he picks up a handful. It's going to make it 3rd and 2. A good carry there on 2nd down.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job of picking up these 4 or 5 yard chunks on just about every play.
Got it to Jashawn Foster on that carry.
And another 3rd and short. I know they're really good on 3rd down today. I would say on 3rd and shorts, they feel like they're 100%.
3rd and 3, Giron back to pass. He steps up, let's go to the middle of the field, has his man. He's got enough for the first down and then some. That'll move the chains. Tim, this offense is surgical. That was one of your players to watch, Matthew Hicks Jr.
And it was last week he only had 2 catches, but one was the first touchdown catch of the game, and the second was a deep catch that converted a 3rd and very long that allowed them to, well, put the game away around halftime last week as well. And he does a great job there of just staying at home, hauling that one in to pick up a 3rd down to keep the clock moving here in the 3rd quarter.
First, we'll hand it off here on 1st down, cutting it back. Not really a lot to do with there, but he picks up 2. Jashawn Foster makes it 2nd and 8.
This has been one thing the Lions defense can hang their hat on. These traditional running plays, starting pretty flat in the backfield, hand off to the pistol formation. They have done a good job of sniffing these out. They have not given up really a big play there. 4 or 5 yards here and there, that's going to happen. They've done a really good job against the traditional run offense of the Spirit. It's just been the Giron scrambles that they have not been able to corral.
Play action across the middle, finds his man. He's got enough for the first down. Moving the chains again. This time Marquise Reese, who's got a touchdown today. 2 touchdowns today, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. Moves the chains for the Spirit, and they are in Lions territory.
And another one that's so smooth it feels like it might as well have been a handoff. Quick slant right off of the snap. And Giron's going to deliver a nearly perfect ball every time there.
1st and 10, fakes a handoff, back to throw, facing pressure, lets it go deep down the field, and it is intercepted. Turnover for the Lions. We've heard his name a lot today. Amin White undercuts the route, looks like he was running it for him, just brings it in and gives the Lions the ball back.
That is the turn of events the Lions had to have, and the first real not good throw we've seen from Giron today. And there is an injured Spirit player down on the field. And I do think that, I believe that's Giron.
That's about where he did let go of that ball. And
that
it is Luke
Giron on the ground. So a worst case scenario for the Spirit in that situation, having an interception, and at the moment your elite quarterback is still on his back. He's going to get up and walk off under his own power now. So again, hopefully it's just one of those hot day stinger situations.
As we get ready for the change of possession here after the turnover, our second piece of trivia of the afternoon, a little callback to a former SAGU football player. On Monday Night Football, former Lion and current Viking Levi Drake Rodriguez tackled which Chicago Bears running back? Did you watch the game, Tim?
I watched the game. I currently have an 8-week-old, and so I watched the game through bleary eyes at 10 o'clock at night. So I cannot say
I know the answer.
I cannot say I even realized it happened until the next day that our boy Drake Rodriguez got a big-time NFL tackle. I was tracking him all last year, waiting for him to get into the active lineup.
He had some meaningful snaps on Monday night against the Bears. I watched the Vikings essentially for him as a former Lion football player. I just want to see him succeed in the NFL.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic story of his entire journey to the NFL. So Cinderella story type stuff.
And mind you, not undrafted, was a drafted player late in the draft. But you know what? That is a huge accomplishment.
Oh yeah, getting your name called off the board means you're one of the best to do it. Period. And he's a guy who obviously was in Waxahachie, then transferred to. Remind me, I'm blanking on. Was it Texas
A&M Commerce?
Yep, Texas A&M Commerce. So he never made it to a big school, but he showed so much in the tape here in Waxahachie and at Texas A&M Commerce that earned him a call on draft day, and he has now worked his way in to meaningful NFL playing time.
Screen across the middle, completed, a lot of room to run. Gets upended and brought down, but a beautiful job to break that initial tackle by Greg Gidry. Picks up a huge gain and moves the chains.
He was so close to breaking one earlier. He got just strung up on his shoestring right there. He finds the running room. Exciting player, this slot receiver. They had that 3-on-2.
Yes, they did. They got it out there. They had that bunch formation we saw early in the game and a late takedown out of bounds. Nothing doing, but that'll move the chains again.
And another solid start on offense here. This is the 4th time in their last 5 drives that they have crossed midfield. 5 real drives, not including the end of half.
Right. 1st and 10.
It'll be go back around now.
A false start and then go right back and make it 1st and 15.
But you love seeing, Holtzclaw is just taking everything that the defense gives him. That's the 2nd time we've seen that situation where they have the trips lined up to the right and Ottawa, Arizona only had 2 men on him, and he has taken quick advantage both times. I'm surprised that the Spirit weren't quicker to react to get somebody over there.
They'll hand it off to Sanders. Sanders into the back of his own offensive line, ends up going for no yardage, make it 2nd and 15. Coming up on a minute left to play here in the 3rd quarter. No scoring here in quarter number 3. It's been relatively quiet. A few punts and a turnover by both of these offenses has really caused this 3rd quarter to fly by here.
Yeah, but both teams have moved the ball well. That's funny, is both teams have crossed midfield on each other multiple times, and we've had no 3-and-outs, which is why the quarter's gone by so quickly with just on our 5th total drive.
Holtzclaw gets it out to the flat after he rolls out. And he ends up going down. He had a little bit to work with, but could not keep that knee off the ground. That'll make it 3rd and about 12. We've seen them convert a couple of these. See if they got some more magic in their hat here.
So close. If he's able to get out of that one, then you're looking at probably more like a 3rd and 5 situation. Instead, he ended up only picking up 2 yards on that pass.
There's Holtzclaw. Sends a man in motion. They bring pressure. Quick hitter to the outside. Has his man Zach Fuller. Fuller trying to make a man miss. He does. He's got enough for the 1st down. Move the chains. Zach Fuller with a little yak to pick up that 1st down. That is a huge conversion for the Lions.
There was nothing easy about those yards after catch. He has to juke and shimmy for each and every one of them. Sheds a shoestring tackle. Nice block downfield there by B.J. Clark, and that will be the end of the 3rd quarter. Lions threatening to put some points on the board. They still trail by 21, but they have a chance here to at least get it back into competition.
Let's go back to our trivia. Again, the question on Monday Night Football, former Lion and current Viking Levi Drake Rodriguez tackled what running back? Tim, I know the answer, DeAndre Swift. We did have someone return Fredo with the right answer, DeAndre Swift. Remember watching that? Not only was a tackle, Tim, it was a big time near tackle for loss in the red zone for Rodriguez. Always nice to see I mean, I can't say always nice to see. The first time we've been able to see someone have this level of success. And he didn't just play that one snap, Tim. He had some meaningful playing time for this Vikings defense. And it's a defense that's pretty good, run by Brian Flores. It's one that's talked about a lot in the NFL. So to see him get some meaningful playing time on this touted defense is really cool to see.
And let me tell you something. If Drake Rodriguez can contribute in any meaningful way in the NFL, he's going to stick around a long time because he is just one of the most likable human beings on earth, and teams are going to want him. People are going to want him on their practice squad no matter what. They're going to want him around. So excited to see what a former Sagu Lion can be doing for the next couple of years, hopefully, in the top level of football competition.
Our first down run goes for a yard, make it 2nd and 9. That was to Marvin Sanders.
Does a couple big previous drive that's been bottled up, and you will see a different look now for the Lions. And it's going to be, is it both Holtzclaws back there?
It is, yep. We've seen that look a couple of times. Dakota Holtzclaw in the backfield to the left of his brother Judah. Back to pass. Holtzclaw rolling out to his left. He's going to get brought down from behind, and another sack will make it 3rd and a very long, I want to say 16, maybe 17 here. Drive killers.
And obviously we focus on the one turnover, but this has been the absolute undoing of this Lions offense. They have put up so many yards. They've crossed midfield so many times, and they are now in imminent danger of coming with no points again. And I feel like every one of these drives has had one big-time killer sack that has undone it all.
3rd and 17. Judah Holtzclaw, 5 wide, empty backfield. His brother in the slot to his left sends him in motion. Judah back to pass. Lets it go, looking for the sideline. Wide of his intended receiver that time, and it falls incomplete. That'll make it 4th and 17. Deontay Saunier, the intended receiver. Would have been short of the sticks, but it would have made it 4th and manageable. And they end up bringing the punting unit out after 2 consecutive really good punts by Judah Holtzclaw. They'll bring the actual punting unit out now on the field.
We don't have much of a choice here. 4th and 17 is just such a, 1% situation, and you kind of got to punt it away here, but just such another tough pill to swallow.
The Lions only have 10 on the field, and they got to bring someone in. 8 seconds left on the play clock. You hate to burn a timeout on special teams, but they may have to.
Yeah, they won't get it off in time. They'll have to use it. A special teams miscue without actually having to have a play, just not having the right package in. This could be, we talked about it pregame. This was an issue last year at special teams. It was already an issue last week, and we've seen some problems here today just in the basic operations and coverage. Something you've got to address, because I'm not going to say you'd be ahead in this game if you had played better special teams, but this would be a different game if you could be a little bit cleaner on that front.
During this timeout, we want to take a look at some Nelson University women's soccer. Damaris Solis was named the Sooner Athletic Conference Women's Soccer Player of the Week. Against LSU Alexandria, she scored twice in a 3-2 win. The second goal wasn't just another score, it stood as the game winner, stealing the victory for Nelson. And just a couple of days later, she added another goal in a 1-1 draw against Texas A&M Victoria. Now these are some big name schools, not against Austin Tillotson or conference play. These are some offshoots of some major universities. So she's really taken the Student Athletic Conference by storm, has Solis, and it's really fun to see women's soccer doing really well here at Nelson University on that nice new field too.
I think that's just it. It's just the field, right? No, it's a great program they've built over there. Not to date myself too much, but I'm pretty sure freshman year was the first year of the women's soccer program.
Wow.
And so just seeing it grow ever since then. And that goal right there, that's not just kind of bumping it in from 5 feet out. That is a beautiful strike. A little bit of soccer hype. Hey, there's going to be a lot of soccer hype around here for the next year. Adam, do you even know what's happening in the United States of America next year related to soccer? Do you even know?
The NFL draft's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I think that's happening. Good punt down inside the 20 for the Lions. They will take over at the 18-yard line. Back to pass here is Giron. Facing pressure, lets it go to the sideline. It's good to see him back in the game after he was slow to get up. Good news for the Spirit, and he ends up completing a pass there on first down.
Takes another solid hit. He has had to earn it's funny, he hasn't had any points in this half, and he has had to earn absolutely every yard. He's been hammered a lot. This defense, all credit to this Lions defense second half. They have done fantastic at keeping this offense in check. Unfortunately, their own offense has been unable to put the points on the board to be able to kind of crawl back into it.
2nd and 3, screen beautifully called. Makes a man miss up the sideline, past the 40-yard line. He's got enough for the first down and then some. Mason Dion takes the screen and does some work. And the Spirit methodically able to move the ball.
The old man, the grad student. I have no guarantee he's an old man. I don't actually have his age on here, but you have to imagine when you're out when you're out there with other freshmen and stuff, you probably start to feel a little bit old as a grad student on the field. So
they hand it off here on first down, spins off a tackle. New running back checks into the game. Jamari Wilson picks up a good chunk there on first down, make it 2nd and 6. You think the grad students get to eat dinner an hour earlier than the regular team to stick with their schedule?
I mean, they have to write longer papers. So
you know what? You know, you're not wrong there. All jokes aside,
the Scantron days for them are over. So yeah, they've got to figure something out.
2nd and 6 here for the Spirit offense. Jerome in the shotgun. Fakes the handoff, back to pass. He's got a clean pocket. He's going to let it go deep down the field. Contact and a flag does come out. Amin White came over with help at the top half of that top part of that route and bumped the receiver and drew the contact.
That's a tough one because that probably wasn't going to be caught. It seemed like it was a bit out of distance, but when you have that level of contact, there's just no way. Yeah, that ball's not going to be caught, but as he's trying to make the weave in.
Well, they actually call it on not Amin White. They call it on, he said number 15, which is David Brasino. I'm not sure that the official got the right number there.
Yeah, I think they just mixed up the number in that situation because that was clearly Amin White that made the contact. As you know, and a little bit of it's just kind of getting lost on the field. The receiver's drifting back to where the ball is going to land, and I do feel like it's going to be about a yard out of reach. But when you knock a guy to the ground, you're not going to get the uncatchable call.
They hand it off here on first down, and it goes for about 3, make it 2nd and 7. Jamari Wilson on the carry again.
That's really been one of the Lions' only penalties today. I think we've had a couple of procedural penalties, but they played a real clean game on that. There's going to be some positives to come out of this game with the Lions, but obviously the glaring negatives at the moment have you in a 21-point hole and the Spirit driving yet again.
2nd and 7 and 6, and a bad snap. Jerome picks it up, drops it again. Live ball, it's out there, and the Lions fall on it. Big turnover. That is huge. With 10:51 left to play in the fourth quarter, the Lions needed a miracle. That comes pretty close, Tim.
This is just never caught by Jerome. It's a bad snap. He can never fully get on it. And right here, does the wise thing. You know, obviously, you would love to get the return, and they're all hoping, but you see him hopping up and down. I think it was, a couple of players there. Jonathan Bloom was one of them, jumping up and down, saying, I wanted to return it.
Every defensive lineman and linebacker dream of that.
But you've got a couple of Spirit players behind you, and it's so easy to just bat that ball accidentally, and they fall on it and no damage done. Now the offense takes over at the 50. That's the last gasp right here.
Holtzclaw now from the pistol almost. Fakes a handoff, lets it go to his brother Dakota Holtzclaw. Lowers the shoulder on the big man. Picks up some good yardage there on first down. Make it 2nd and 5.
I feel like that's a connection that we could really see develop into something this year. Every quarterback needs their safety blanket, and the guy you threw balls to in the backyard for your entire life growing up is probably the easiest one for him to land on.
Quick hitter to the outside. B.J. Clark makes a man miss, picks up enough for the first down, moves the chains, and Nelson, they absolutely have to keep this drive alive. They can't afford any more mistakes. Like you said, we've seen some good drives from this Nelson offense, and it's just petered out with sacks and fumbles, and Just got to keep it going.
Yeah, they've gotten past the 50, inside the 40. I mean, I feel like on at least 6 of their drives, and only have one score. And actually, I don't think they didn't get past the 50 on their one scoring drive. That was a 56-yard catch and run.
Hitter to the outside again. Another first down. It should move the chains, and it does. That time to number 80, Deontay Sonnier.
He pushes him back, and the defensive back just keeps on going. That he slammed the brakes on, and
that's a good route.
He didn't have the parachute he needed to make that stop quick enough. Easy first down.
Bunch formation. Holtzclaw steps up, spins off a tackle. He's going to take off, slides down after a gain of 1.
Key run by number 2.
Positive yardage on first down. An improvement here for Nelson. They've got to keep this going.
Well, he keeps it from being the sack that has undone you so many times. And right here, this is just a wise season-long decision. It's game 2. There's no reason to get hit that hard for me half an extra yard.
Holtzclaw swings it out and to the outside. A great one-on-one tackle by that linebacker, Tyler Ivey. Came unblocked. Tim, that is a tough tackle to make in the backfield.
It is, and he is almost shook out of his shoes, but he just gets enough of them to bring up another 3rd and long. There is just an invisible force field at the 30 that has stymied the Lions all day. They got one last chance to undo it here. You don't score here, and you can pretty much call any desperate hope of a comeback would end.
Bunch formation to the left here for Holtzclaw on 3rd and 14. Sends a man in motion. Fakes a handoff. He has to let it go, and it's in the air for Everett. Very scary situation there. They tried to set up the screen. It was a good play call. This was not able to be executed. Brings up 4th and 14.
And it's not able to be executed because of this reason right here, immediate pressure. 2 different guys untouched. He can't even move around one of them to try to make something happen. So now is the time that you will go for the 4th and a mile. No point in trying the field goal here. It'd be a tough one anyways. So you'll line up and have one last shot here with just under 8.5 remaining.
4th and 14. Holtzclaw back to pass. Evades the defender. He's going to have to take off with it. He's got to stay on his feet, and he will not. That'll be a turnover on downs. I want to go back to that 3rd down play, Tim. Big shout out to big number 77, Charles Jackson. On the screenplay, he clogged that passing lane to the ultimate receiver that was trying to be on the receiving end of the screen. Clogged it just enough to where it floated in the air and fell incomplete. That's a big play to keep that 4th and long. That is a tough turnover on downs by the Spirit defense.
Yeah, they did, and again, another drive where they were on their heels, and then all of a sudden a new set of downs come up, and it's a whole new defense, and they shut it down from that point on.
1st and 10 here for the Spirit. Jerome will hand it off. Had a lane, but got upended. Ends up being just a 1-yard carry. Jamari Wilson, one of the captains for the Spirit, picks up a yard.
Made by number 21.
The Lions defense has a lot to be proud of here in this second half at the moment. No points allowed after allowing 28 unanswered. You get 2 turnovers. One you really can't say you forced necessarily, but you've had 2 turnovers on your last 2 drives.
Jerome steps up, evades the pressure, spins back around, tries to get back to the outside, ends up picking up a yard. Fancy footwork from Jerome, but it ends up going just for 1 yard.
Yeah, that spin took a little bit too long to develop out there. Jerome, honestly, he's probably worn out right now. He has done so much today. He's done so much running. He's scrambled at almost every throw he's had to make, and he has been absolutely walloped 4 or 5 times by this Lions defense. He has some fantastic stats, but they have not come easy.
3rd and 8 here for the Spirit. 3 out wide to the right. Jerome back to pass. He rolls that way. Fading backwards. He's going to let it go to no one, out of bounds. There is a flag in the backfield at around the 10-yard line.
Now, is this intentional grounding or roughing the passer? Is the question. I think it may be intentional grounding. The referee is asking if there was a receiver in the area or not. Oh, and we don't see it happen in the play there, but if there was any contact made, the lineman was 3 or 4 yards away from Jerome when he threw the ball. He had to take several steps. Let's see, we'll probably get a better angle of it here, as we talked about how they had done a really good job of not making mistakes. Yeah, and we won't see it on the replay, but you can tell if there's any contact made, he had to make 2 or 3 steps, and by that point it was clear Jerome did not have the ball. And so what should have been an easy get off the field is a free set of downs and will allow the Spirit to continue milking this clock.
They go to Jamari Wilson on first down, make it 2nd and 6.
That's one that you know head coach Hudgens is going to note. Obviously, in this current setup of the game, it's unlikely that that's going to impact the outcome at all. But if this was a bit closer of a game and with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you just handed your opponent a free first down on a purely mental mistake, that would be a huge, devastating decision. Still fighting, and they may have picked up this first down. They're going to give him to it.
They did push that pile, and it went about 2 yards from where the contact was made and picked up the first down.
Yeah, initial contact was the 48, and he's going to fight all the way to the other 48. And 2 yards of pure scrum to get there, as we're at 6 minutes to play. You know, Adam, we got package 2 coming up. I'll just cut off my thought.
So we talked about the athletic complex and the new field that the soccer players are playing on, but we want to give you a look at what's going on over there. We had a new sign. I drove by it today. A new sign was added to the front of the Lions Athletic Complex, a new turf soccer/football field soon, football field, track and field, and of course a future home of Nelson football. I am excited to call our first game with you with the Lions logo in the middle of the field. It's going to fire me up. We're very excited. Big things happening over on the Nelson University campus. 1st and 10, Jerron fading backwards is going to let it go out of bounds. Bring up 2nd and 10.
And they have been pursuing him so well. So my thought was going to be, I actually had a trivia question for you.
For me?
For you.
Oh, boy.
Because I did some research and I stumbled on something kind of funny. The Lions and Spirit have always somehow played very early in the year. They've played all of their games in September except for one. And do you know what month that game was played in?
Yeah, it was the COVID year. So it was spring. It was probably March or April.
It was April.
Yeah.
I was looking at the dates, and it's all September, and then there's that April there. And for a second, I went, well, that's a mistake. And went, nope, that's right.
Jerron on 2nd down, short completion makes it 3rd, and we'll call it about 7.
But yeah, somehow this has always been a very early season matchup. It's always been in September between these two squads. The Lions have not won since the first time they ever met. That was a really good year for the Lions, and they
What year was that? Was that 2015?
No, I believe it was the 2018
season.
2018 season. They blew the Spirit out, but it has been all Ottawa, Arizona since then, and they are on their way to their 7th win now here in Waxahachie.
Back to pass on 3rd down, lets it go to the side, incomplete. Brings up 4th down. Yeah, I mean, Ottawa of Arizona, this is a team that they started slow in that first year, but ever since that first initial year of play for this program, they've had their foot on the gas, and they have been very good. And quite frankly, since 2018, 2019, the best team in the division.
Yeah, consistently up there, and they have made the playoffs twice, narrowly missed it twice more. Obviously you had a year when it was arguable who should have gone, but Arizona Christian went. And then you had the truly insane year where it came down to a field goal in the closing seconds of the Louisiana Christian game. So on 2 different occasions, Ottawa of Arizona has been, we don't call them co-champions, but has been the shared champion of the conference, but did not make the playoffs. So they have been at the top, and if not for a hiccup here or there, would be a 4-time playoff lead. They'll be back here in North Texas about 2 months from now when they come to Fort Worth. And I mean, it's far too early to call that the de facto Sooner Athletic Conference Championship game, but it's the game everybody has highlighted as those are the two favorites, and it could very well be decided on the same site that the national championship will be played about a month after that.
1st and 10 from the 8-yard line. 3 wide here it's an empty backfield now for Holtzclaw on 1st down. He's going to let it go quickly to B.J. Clark. Clark goes down and gets it, tries to make a man miss. Ends up picking up 2 yards, make it 2nd and 8. Jim, the Spirit, Ottawa of Arizona, they've got national championship aspirations this year. You got to think they got a bad taste in their mouth from how last season ended. A play-in team, they get in, they run into just a buzzsaw in Friends, almost 600 yards rushing in that game for Friends. You got to think they want to get back there. They've got big hopes for the season, and so far today, pass completed out of bounds for Zach Fuller. There are flags on the play. But this Spirit team, Tim, they look good. They've got the senior quarterback. They've got the leadership. They got big plans.
Yeah. And it starts with winning the conference and not having to play that play-in.
Absolutely.
That has to be your primary goal. You can't hang your hat on the at-large. If you leave it in the voters' hands, that's when it becomes a total roll of the dice.
On defense, continue our commitment to previous spot on that 1st down.
So the Lions will pick it up. As for the Lions here, still 4 minutes to play, and it's going to be hard to call a 21-point loss anything you can call a moral victory. But I'll just say this. If you play like this against a lot of the other teams in the conference, you're not going to be down by 21. You're going to be winning these games. You've done so much right today, and really I think so much of what has gone wrong outside of the special teams miscues has been a pin your ears back aggressive defense that can just come home on every single play and put you down in the grass. This has been a pure sack-driven defense today.
They had 10 sacks yet?
That might be the 10th sack. I'm not going to lie. It's at least 8. I should have, if I'd have known we were going to be approaching a double digit. I believe Holtzclaw was sacked 6 times last week as well, so you've got to figure out offensive line. But you're not going to play a team that's going to be quite this aggressive every single week because everything else on the offense has clicked so well. The receivers are making great plays after the catch. Holtzclaw is putting every pass on the money. He's going to have a great passing day. His rushing yards are going to be -50, but that's all on sacks.
Completion to his brother Dakota Holtzclaw will bring up 3rd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Approaching 3 minutes left to play here in this game. Nelson finds them 7, just trying to build anything they can here on this offensive drive. They bring pressure, and they will get there again, bringing up 4th and 16 with another sack.
I just saw him crossing his arms. I think that was just the old-fashioned X, let's get off the field, but I think that might be the Roman numeral X I think that was their 10th sack. It has been an all-out day for this defense. And their only turnover forced was on a sack by forcing a fumble. So it has been they've lived in the Lions' backfield, and any play that
punting unit out.
Another dribbler on the punt.
The snap gets dribbled down, and it's going to be down at the 33, maybe 34-yard line.
Punt down by number 10, Dylan Layfield.
And that is where Ottawa of Arizona will take over. They can likely end the game with maybe if a 1st down does end the game on 3 plays, if not get close.
Yeah, I doubt the Lions are going to be utilizing their timeouts in this situation to try to get the ball back. So I honestly, again, I'm not looking for moral victories here. I'm not trying to say, oh, what an amazing 21-point loss. But considering this game was 28-7 going into the half, this had the potential for being an absolute rout, one that you were, absolutely hanging your head on. Another hard hit.
Looks like a new quarterback into the game for the Spirit.
Yes, the decision to get the backup quarterback in there. We've seen too many games where teams have left their starting quarterback in, and with how much Giron has been run over in this game, Having the backup in right now is the wise decision. But yeah,
Connor Malt into the game for the Spirit.
I feel like there have been plenty of games at 28-7. We'd be calling a 56-7 game right now. And instead, the Lions defense has held strong, and the Lions offense has been so close throughout this second half of making it a competitive ball game.
We talked about women's soccer here earlier in this broadcast. Let's flip it over to the men's side. They did start the season 2-0 with wins against Arlington Baptist. They are currently 2-1 at the start of conference play, and they are at Central Christian on September 27th. We'll be having a home football game broadcast on that day. The next soccer broadcast, which is taken off now with the addition of this new field, it looks really great. Tuesday, September 30th, 5 p.m. against Southwestern Christian is the next Nelson University Sports Network soccer broadcast. So tune in, 5 p.m. on the 30th. Back to pass. He lets it go, looking for the end zone, overshoots everybody. So on 2nd and 10, out to pass is number 16, Connor Malt, into the game. And they're keeping the foot on the gas here, Tim. Now, there are scenarios where points scored serve as a tiebreaker.
That is
true. So there is a little bit of circumstance to try to put some more points on the board.
I honestly can't remember if Ottawa, Arizona is the one who directly lost out or not. I'm sure they remember if they were on that point differential battle. But yeah, if it's coming down to a field goal at the last game and you were real polite and kneeled down at the 1 at some point against somebody you were blowing out, you learned your lesson. There is no more such a thing as running up the score when that could in fact be a facet. As the Lions defense looks like they're going to hold strong again, not allow a garbage time touchdown. The clock will continue to run, and the Spirit will probably send out their punt unit as this one will whittle away. The Spirit will walk away with a win in which they did all of their damage in the first half. And for the Lions, I'm not going to say you were 1 or 2 plays away from winning this game, but you were clearly 1 or 2 plays away from this not being the situation right now. You could have spent the last 5 or 6 minutes, even if you're down 28-14, that's a desperate battle that's trying to call timeouts, get the ball back. This could have been a lot closer than what it was. And as I said, if Judah Holtzclaw looks like this and your defense is able to show up like they did in the second half, you're going to win some football games this year. You're going up against one of the top teams in the nation.
Yep.
And I'm not going to say you went toe-to-toe with him for 60 minutes, but you were, as I said, 1 or 2 plays away from this being a tight game until the final whistle. So a lot of positives. The one glaring negative is that offensive line. You've got to address that, strategize, scheme some way to get Judah Holtzclaw more time to throw, because with what little time he had to throw today, he put together a really solid stat line, other than whatever he's going to get penalized for the gang tackles in the backfield.
Yeah. Look at the upcoming schedule here for Nelson and these Lions. Next Saturday, Arkansas Baptist, then right back here on the 27th for that Texas Wesleyan game, the battle for 287, battle for whatever you want to call it. Texas Wesleyan, big rivalry here at Nelson University. It just goes deeper than football. It goes to basketball. It goes to baseball. We love facing off against the Rams. That's on the 27th, so keep your eyes peeled.
I think this is a name that probably ring a bell. Jessica Sodich.
Yeah, of course.
I remember interviewing her back in the old days for volleyball, and I asked about the Texas Wesleyan rivalry, and I asked her, so is there some mutual respect between you two out there? And she just went, no. I'm like, that's what I want to hear. Just good old-fashioned sports hate.
Jessica Sodich, that's one of the best strikers.
Oh, fantastic.
The Lady Lions volleyball program has ever seen. Just an unbelievable athlete was Jessica Sodich in her time here. Good basketball player, too.
Yeah.
Dual sport athlete.
So Holtzclaw, let me see here. Let me double check before I say Holtzclaw's back on the field. Let's actually see who's leading them out there. Yeah, it is Holtzclaw. Will come back out for one last drive, 49 seconds left. We'll see what the Lions game well out of reach.
As we approach the end of this game and the final whistle, go ahead and throw your favorite players in our YouTube chat. Tell us who you're proud of, whether it's a Nelson Lion or a Spirit player. Tell us who you want to shout out, who you want to see, who you want to who you're proud of on both of these squads, as they have had a hard-fought game today here in Waxahachie, home opener for the Lions. Give them a shout-out. Let us know who you're proud of and who you liked seeing today.
It's a 28-7 win for the Spirit, but there is nobody leaving this stadium without bruises. It's going to be a victorious flight back home for Ottawa, Arizona, but it's not going to be a comfortable one. They took their licks here today. They had to earn this win here in Waxahachie. Nothing came easy, but one of the best teams in the nation will move to 2-0. The Lions will fall to 0-2 after their opening conference loss, but they have a chance to get right back on the horse next week with a get-right win at Arkansas Baptist. That's exactly what you kind of need right now. A trip to a team that you know you can go beat, go get a good win. Then you come back home. That's going to be another measurement stick game against Texas Wesleyan. How you behave in that game, what you show in that game, can really define, what this season's going to look like, whether you're able to match up with teams like Louisiana Christian and Langston, as the other top-tier contender is here 2 weeks from today. Player of the game, I think you got to go Luke Giron.
Absolutely. I mean, to say
no questions.
to say that the bulk of the offense ran through Luke Giron feels like a little bit of an understatement. And he was that good today.
And all of those stats are first-half stats. Basically, all of them. 224 yards, 54 rushing yards. He did have the interception and the fumble that messed him up a little bit later on. Although, check out Marquez Reese. 5 of those catches, 133 yards, touchdown. He did have a rushing touchdown, so maybe I don't know. Giron was, let's just say this, Giron was the first half MVP. The second half was just a game of hammering the quarterback on both sides.
How about that Spirit defense? Just 11 rushing yards. Now, of course, the rushing yards are taken away from the quarterback on sacks, but I mean, that's just even more impressive.
Basically, those all came off of those back-to-back Marvin Sanders runs. He put about 20 yards on 2 runs. Meanwhile, for the Lions, still some really solid stats to look at here, with your quarterback making his home debut. He put up some really solid numbers. If you check out his final stats coming in here, 74% completion rate. Adam, it's got to have been a decade. I feel like since we've seen that high completion rate. 245 yards, touchdown. B.J. Clark, fantastic. Almost 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. Jonathan Bloom leading the way with 12 tackles. The story of this game is sacks. That is the difference maker.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say the Lions were going to win this game if they had held them to 4 sacks, but I think this is a 28-21 game if they're able to hold them to a reasonable amount of sacks. So that you've got to clean that up. For now, there's a lot to hang your head on. There's a lot to improve, and a long season left to play for the Nelson Lions.
Absolutely. As it went today, Nelson jumped out to that 7-0 lead on the 54-yard touchdown pass from Holtzclaw to Clark. OUAZ tied it up, 6-yard touchdown pass to Frankie Valentino. And then from there, it was all Spirit. 18-yard touchdown pass to Marquise Reese. And then Giron with a 6-yard touchdown run. And then Reese again into the end zone with a 4-yard touchdown run. That made it 28-7. And that is where we ended this ball game. The Ottawa of Arizona Spirit 28, the Nelson Lions 7, as the Spirit will be a little bit happier on that bus ride back to Surprise, Arizona, coming away with a win. Flight, rather. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't imagine taking a bus to Surprise. I'm sorry. It just came off the tongue as a bus ride. Flight back to Surprise, Arizona.
I've driven to New Mexico a few times.
Yes,
I'm not driving to Arizona. That's a 4-day wagon trail, I think.
we went to the Boise State Penn State playoff game last year in Phoenix, and that was a drive. That is El Paso and New Mexico. It gets real long out there. So congratulations to the Spirit with their 28-7 victory over the Lions. Upcoming broadcasts today, 5 p.m., the Lady Lions volleyball against number 8 Oklahoma Wesleyan. That is going to be a very fun matchup. So our team is going to quickly get over to the Schaefer Center and get ready to bring that broadcast to you here in just a couple hours. And then men's and women's soccer both on Tuesday, September 30th, 5 p.m. for the men, 7:30 p.m. for the women. They take on Southwestern Christian. The next 3 broadcasts here for the Nelson University Sports Network. All upcoming broadcasts will be on the Nelson University Sports Network YouTube channel. Share the link with family and friends, whoever you want to see and catch up on the action here with the Nelson University Sports Network. You can find past broadcasts, highlights, shorts, and more on our YouTube page, Facebook, X, and Instagram. All the highlights. Hit the subscribe button. Final score again, the Nelson Lions 7, the Ottawa Arizona Spirit 28. 90% of our crew here at the Nelson University Sports Network is made up of college students who are giving up their weekends and putting in the hours and putting in the work, showing us how it's done here. So we want to thank them for the hours and effort that they put in to bring you the best broadcast possible. I'm Adam Ferguson right now with my broadcast partner Tim Roberts and our field reporter Kiara D'Amato. And on behalf of our entire crew, so long from Waxahachie, Texas, and thank you for watching the Nelson University Sports Network.